having a game here today between the undefeated Bombers and the Adelaide Crows, who've won 3 out of their last 4, and their only defeat was last week by 3 points. But the Crows, can they beat Adelaide, and can they beat Essendon and bring this unbeaten run to an end? Well, statistics might indicate they've got the job ahead, because Essendon against the Interstaters in Melbourne since 1987, when the national competition started, the Crows have never beaten them in 7 tries. Brisbane have never beaten them in 8 tries. And we go down the line, and Essendon are 41-6 against the Interstaters in Melbourne since 87. But they've got to be beaten at some stage. Will it be today, this year, next year, or never? Dipper.
Yeah, good afternoon, Drew, and as you mentioned, perfect conditions down here, and happy Mother's Day to everybody around Australia. The bench for Adelaide will start Jarman, Costa, Marsh and Gallagher, and for Essendon, Solomon, Buick, Ramanaskas and Alessio. And looking forward to a terrific game. And don't count out the Adelaide Crows. They're very confident about beating the Bombers today.
Good on you, Dip. And we get underway in absolutely perfect conditions, and Barnes wins the first hit out, and Essendon straight away into attack, up towards half forward. Down goes Edwards, socket off the ground by Mercury, up towards the 50. Robrin does well together. Hurried left footer, back towards centre wing. Blumfield along. Michael Long centres the ball towards Hurd at centre half forward. He's bumped out. Well, it was dropped. It comes to the back, and now eventually to Hurd off Barnes. Kicked by Hurd. Swings back. Goal. And a chance to welcome this afternoon Doug Hawkins and Gerard Healy, Hall of Famer. Gerard, congratulations. And I think this bloke will be a Hall of Famer at some stage in his life.
Well, I don't think there's any question of that. And thanks for that, Drew. But what a great start to the Bombers, and particularly their captain. He was just under the pump. Nigel Smart didn't do quite enough there, Doug. And there is a bit of a suggestion that James Hurd has got a little bit of the flu. So he'd be very pleased to get onto the mark, onto the scoreboard straight away. Yeah, great goal there to James Hurd. Without doubt, one of the superstars of the competition. And what a start for the match.
Joe Mercedes applies the tackle. The ball spills the Crows' way. It comes the way of James out of the middle. Now Fletcher has it for Essendon. Up over half-back. And Mercury on the run marks.
Fair match up that one, Drew. McLeod with Mercury. And well, he's just found touch, much to the angst of Joe Mercedes, who's now playing his 150th game, Doug.
Yeah, some matchups here too as well. Gerard as well. You got Hard on Lloyd, and you got Goodwin on Hurd and Robin on Lucas.
And that is called massage, among other things.
Getting a fair workout. Jacobs does well. Gets it back out of bounds. Gains a few metres for the Bombers.
Yeah, match up down here, boys. Wren and the big fella. What's his name again?
Dean Wallace.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dipper. Good input. Throw in down towards half forward for the Bombers. Caracella.
Oh, good shepherd.
Birdman goes off the ground and kicks out of bounds on the full. Dipper nearly gets his first touch for the day, but it's going to be a free kick to Sean Wellman, just behind centre wing. Jacobs sets himself. Rasciuto has been magnificent recently. Away to Robrin. And what a kick by Robrin. That is a good travel of a drop punt, just outside the 50. Sean Wren did well for a big fella. Ball was well read there by Welsh. And the hand pass back into trouble, and a ball up.
I was going to say that matchup is a very good one, because Sean Wren can pick the ball off the ground, as we saw there, because the height difference is, what, maybe 8 or 9 inches?
Yeah, you're right there, Dipper, spot on there. And looks like Bigland has taken on John Barnes in the ruck for the Crows.
He took him on then. There was a back slammer, Wren. And this ball is bouncing, and rushed through for a rush behind the Crows' first score. Ball taken through by Barnard.
Mercury and McLeod, that is a classic matchup.
Isn't it a ripper? You've got an All-Australian, couple of All-Australians, Norm Smith medalist. Oh, just fantastic. Well, he did really well. Now Mercury, actually a clever soccer back, and Mercury gets the ball back. That's brilliant. Heffernan spins out of a tackle. Centre wing. Heffernan's kick towards half forward. Brilliant movement. Caracella down towards the pocket. Lloyd in front. And Hart's his man today, and Hart punches away.
Yeah, good disposal there, or good spoil from Ben Hart. All-Australian on a number of occasions now as a defender, and he's up against Matthew Lloyd, one of the guns of the competition. But it was the pace there that allowed him to close down and prevent the mark.
Still movement in the crowd. People taking their seats. This will finish up being a big crowd here this afternoon. The Crows just get the ball outside the 50. Lucas a bit of a touch. Long, a palm off. Got rid of Rashudo. Hardwick. Masiti goes wide. Heffernan. Here's McLeod. That was clever touch. He worked the ball to himself. But the kick wasn't great. Comes straight back to Heffernan. Oh, this is danger. Two Essendon players sport each other. It looked a certain mark. Lucas might kick a goal anyway. Ball smothered. Can't believe that. Johnson gets over the ball.
Well, that'll be holding the ball, surely. No, you got to do that.
Lucas. Crows desperate, and a ball-up results. Well, how the two Essendon players, Lucas and McCurry, probably had no right to go there, didn't he?
Yeah, probably you're right there, Drew. Should probably the mark there to Scotty Lucas, and we know McCurry has got a good pair of hands for his size, but his job probably in that situation was to stay down and do the crumbing.
Bigly a slick hand pass. Rashudo. Now, this is a contest, so... good mark, Heffernan.
Well, you just can't underestimate the skills of this kid. Chris Heffernan is an up-and-coming superstar of the midfield, Doug. He's a real beauty. Has been attempted to be poached already as a youngster. Hadn't even played many games by a number of clubs. He is a great talent.
48 metres out. The kick is all the way. Oh, Lloyd on the line.
Well, this is interesting because did he double handle this one across the line?
Well, I'll tell you what, looked like Jerry took the one grab and just kept following through on that occasion. That's going to be a big problem for Ben Hart. You did touch on his pace, Jerry, which is very good up against Lloyd, but the one-on-one in strength, I think you'll be giving away a fair bit to Lloyd. Lloyd's very, very strong up the body, as you know.
Well, nevertheless, whether he kicks this or not, the Bombers have looked sharp early in the piece, and the conditions here are just absolutely glorious. The ground is in great condition.
So Matthew Lloyd, the league's leading goal kicker, point-blank range, gets a goal.
Monday night, journey into the breathtaking world of giants.
They don't get much bigger than this.
Come face to face with nature's most powerful giants. Monday at 7:30. At 8:30, guess who realizes a lifetime dream?
Hi, Miss Turner. Hi, I'm Ally
To be
McBeal.
Tina Turner's backup singer. And nothing's going to stop her Monday night at 8:30. Then at 9:30, courtroom tactics turn into dirty tricks.
What the hell are you up to now?
The Practice. Monday, 9:30 on 7.
Yes, very sure hands, Matthew Lloyd. Not a fumble at all. He just made it stick. And the Crows now have to respond. They've got to get on the board early in the piece as Hardwick gets the ball from the centre of the ground.
Back near midfield, McLeod. Beautiful kick by McLeod. Lead by Welsh, couldn't take the mark. Burton was there. He was out-jumped by Heffernan a moment ago. Fletcher clears. He's become a new hero for the Essendon fans, and he's been around since he was a schoolboy in '93 and played in the premiership. But Dustin Fletcher, son of champion, has really stepped up to be all-class.
Yes, if the All-Australian side was announced today, there'd be no doubt that he'd be the full-back. He's been the class defender of the competition.
Up towards the 50. Chance for Rashudo on the left, won't make it. Welsh caught behind, and the ball off the hands, out of bounds.
I just reckon too, Jared, at this stage, I know it's only early in the game here, but Darren Jarman is that goal-kicking option down their forward line. He started on the bench, and I just reckon that, you know, you got Vardy down there, I suppose they're taking a punt with Wren playing at centre forward. I like to see Jarman come on the ground pretty early in this game.
Barnesy wins the tap, Hardwick gets it out, and Bombers at ground level. Masiti, Carousella, might have ducked into the tackle. Is he holding the ball? The umpire says, give it to me, and I'm going to ball it up. But Stenglein might have had some claims there.
Yeah, just a lack of prior opportunity here. He grabbed it, he tried to duck back, but there really wasn't a lot of time for him to get rid of the ball. So I think the umpire's got that one right.
A lot of players. You could throw a blanket over 24 players here. And the umpires, I notice, are letting this go on and on.
Yep.
He gave him a fair time that time. Gavin Dorr, Darren Morris, Vince Cercia in charge today. Bombers 2 goals. Crows 1 behind. Wren out wide. And the kick by Vardy out of bounds on the full. And he can't blame the wind for that. 5 goals last week, Peter Vardy.
Yeah, saw the Crows win last week. They were pretty impressive. And there's Ben Marsh on the bench, along with Kim Costa, ready to come on and get a piece of the action.
Oh, Wallace. He took them on and gave them a flogging up towards midfield. Punched down to the front. Good, strong play. That was great. Getting the hand pass out wide. Stengline, short pass. Mark completed. Yes. Crowell.
Looked like young Byrne, I think, may have come for that occasion. Good play, as you did call, Drew. It's a good play by James Byrne to come through and to set that play up. Come out of the centre of the ground. There it is just now. Good tackle too by Mercury under enormous pressure to get that tackle on. And good foot skills there to get it across.
Byrne playing his 8th game and Crowell playing just his 2nd game. Both first-year players. So Andrew Crowell from about 51 metres. Need to be his very best, you'd reckon. Goal square job. Oh, good mark. Sean Wren. Well, there was Barnes there. There was Fletcher there. But who's taller than Wren?
Oh, that's unbelievable. I expected that ball to go flying from the defensive punch. There's about 30 blokes having a crack at it. And Sean Wren dobs it through the middle.
Butterfly Ridge Range, $5.99. West End Draft, $25.99.
Angus Fruit, $7.99.
Lone Gum Range, $7.99.
Bacardi Rum, $23.99. Poets Corner Table Range,
$8.99.
you know there's the stuff ups in the ad that just have me going
If you like to sip and you want to save, you can't go past your local sip and save.
That might be the move. I mean, Fletcher onto Wren, because that sort of, you know, the height difference is there, and put, you know, Wallace back.
Not a bad call, Dipper.
I don't think there's any doubt, though, that we'll see Wallace trying to just exploit Sean Wren and run off, try and go around him a number of times. He's done it once, and both coaches will let the respective players settle for a while.
Oh, Mercury. Rangers fear to tread through there. Carousella across the ground, and they've worked this beautifully. Masiti, Wellman, and look at the space here for Johnson. Chance for Jason Johnson inside the 50. Lloyd, second great spoil by Hart. He's got a big task today, and so far he's winning the contest. Oh, it comes to Heffernan, and now Lloyd finds himself 20 metres in the clear, in short, but the short pass was too long, and over the head. And Lloyd probably from there should have gone for goal, and the Crows have got out of it. Edwards. Round the boundary line, and the mark taken by Goodwin.
Oh, that's a great kick. Opens up the goal face now. He's brought the ball back into the centre corridor. And with somebody with as strong a leg as Rashudo, they should go into attack. Oh. That is an incredible mistake.
Blumfield. And Lucas has found himself 25 metres in the clear. Who's his man? Scotty Lucas. Bang! What a goal!
Well, there's a lot of people happy with that goal, except for Michael Long, the vice-captain, who was sitting 30 metres out from goal, Doug, by himself. And you saw his reaction. He wasn't clapping. He was saying, what about
kicking over to me? Yeah, you're right, Jared. I mean, he took the punt here, Scotty Lucas. He's a punt. It's Matthew Robin. There was in the picture there, Michael Long. But a couple of turnovers. See, Matthew Lloyd missed his target. Yeah. A bit early, as you touched on before, Jared, that the good punch by Ben Hart was terrific as well. Then we see Rashudo, instead of going long to Wren, went across to the other side of the ground.
Well, we've seen a couple of games here last night and today where this might be the Bermuda Triangle, Colonial Stadium. Why aren't they finding their targets and hitting the post and doing all sorts of things? You certainly can't blame the conditions.
I think one of the great aspects of the match is the spoiling of Ben Hart. We've already seen him do a couple. And just have a look at this one. Just in time, the extra pace has seen him close down and rob Matthew Lloyd of certain shots at goal.
Barnes wins in the middle. Well, it was going to be a free kick to Johnson, and it will come back. Well, advantage might have been paid because Lucas took the mark, but it'll come back to Johnson.
I just reckon, fellas, when you got Wren at centre-half forward, Rashudo on that occasion went wide, you got to get the ball down there quickly to give him a chance to be up against Wallace one-on-one.
Umpire said play on. You reckon Mercury was having a bit of an act? Long tries to punch the ball off the ground. Long gets it back. Hurried left foot. Lloyd dashes for it. It bounced towards the face of goal, but just missed off Michael Long.
Well, there's no doubt that Mark McCurry exaggerated it, but geez, I reckon he was lucky not to get away with the free kick.
McLeod and McCurry, what a matchup. Hart straight up the ground. Robin couldn't quite take the mark. Mercedes on all fours. Spills to Byrne. Round the corner he goes to centre wing. Wellman comes from behind, puts on a really good spoil. Comes to the front to Bickley. Kicked by Bickley inside centre half forward. Oh, good mark. Cowell. Andrew Cowell, who was taken number 12 in the pre-season draft, which doesn't often get you a great footballer, came from Woodville West Torrens and playing his second game.
Well, you keep taking the front position and attack the ball as he has done with that much vigour. You're going to give yourself some opportunities. Now he's just got to convert.
50 metres out. That is a beautiful kick.
Get all the weekend action fresh from the field in sport on Monday. Your health, fitness and fashion. Fresh ideas in lifestyle every Tuesday. Great taste, it's what South Australia's famous for. And it's hot off the presses in food and wine on Wednesday. Plus all the latest local news and world news. Fresh every day. The Advertiser. Fresh Daily.
3-1 to 2-1 and a great start to the game. Midway through the first quarter. Barnes beats Biglands. Heffernan works it beautifully through the middle. But the kick aimed for Lloyd dropped short. Robrin the mark. Robrin playing on Lucas. And a beautiful delivery to the Birdman. And he clears over centre wing. Mark Biglands. Low, hard kick. Crowell again. Now, he couldn't get better delivery to a forward than that.
Just the use of the footy so far has been very good out of their back line there, Jared. I just see Dustin Fletcher was caught probably 10-15 metres behind his opponent. So Cow was very quick off the mark here. Great kick too. Spot on.
So Andrew Crowell to kick his second goal in what would be a magnificent first quarter for him and the Crows. 48 metres. Oh, it's good.
Well, I always thought that you had to take your new car back to the dealer to get it serviced. But this friend of mine said that she gets hers serviced at UltraTune. They use all of the right parts and the price is fixed. Hey, they sound pretty good to me.
Kevin Sheedy and Mark Harvey there, maybe with some concerns. Scores level here. The Bombers have carried all before them in the first 9 rounds of the season. And we see a change here for the Bombers. Solomon comes on, Blumfield off.
Yeah, Blumfield's been tagging Rashudo, Drew, so it looks like Solomon may have the job on Rashudo at this stage.
And Rashudo actually now starting on the half-back flank along with Burton. So they've got a couple of their... Mark Rashudo's played a number of games at the half-back line, but I wonder if he hasn't been put there just to break the tag.
Bickley, good hands. McLeod, good running by Bickley. Gave it, got it back. Wren with Wallace. Interesting matchup that. It was thrown out, and it's a free kick against Wren. Free kick to Wallace. And Wren will have Wallace under his armpit. And the mark he took in the goal square for a goal was fantastic. So the Crows really taking it up to the unbeaten Essendon. In recent weeks, the Crows have beaten Hawthorn, beaten Port, beaten St Kilda, and lost by a kick to the Kangaroos, which is pretty good form. Wallace on a run, half back to half forward. Solomon just on, can't mark. Comes to McLeod. He sprints away, Andy McLeod. The kick is magnificently delivered. You can't get better than that. And the mark taken by Perry at half forward. Too far out to score, I would suggest. Long to the goal square. Oh, good punch away. Barner.
Well, that was a steal, but just having a look at some of the matchups in the Essendon forward line, the all-powerful Essendon forward line. Robin's picked up Lucas. Nigel Smart's on Jacobs into the side today. Hart, as we know, has got Lloyd. Burton on Heffernan, and Goodwin has picked up Hurd. I should say Hart on Lloyd.
So the Crows in front by a point. Jason Johnson has it at half-back for the Bombers. To centre wing. Jacobs got a hand to it. Socket forward by McLeod. Mercedes for the Bombers. Back to Jacobs. Sit and wait ball this. Long makes a contest of it.
Oh, well done, Goodwin.
Beautifully done by Goodwin at the back. Robin delayed the hand pass. Drew a man. Found Bickley. Excellent Johnson. I think we're in for a great game here today, boys.
That way. Yep. Bickley, the captain of the Crows, was dragged last week, but he's had a magnificent start to the match.
Off the ground, Heffernan, just inside the line, and he's gained about 40 metres with that.
He's had 5 touches so far, Jared Bickley, in the game, and he's used the ball very well too, which sometimes can let himself down a bit with his disposal, but today he's been good so far.
And he's pushed over now onto Michael Long. Big task, but he's getting that footy, Doug, and right at this stage, the Crows are getting a lot of drive from their half-back line, and McLeod also has started the match well.
Mercury gets clear. This will be a goal. Put this one down. He missed it.
Called it. Well, he was lucky to get that one. There was a mix-up between 2 Adelaide Crows players, McLeod and I think it may well have been Bickley, but it allowed Mark Mercury just to slide through with absolutely no pressure. Don't see him miss those too often.
Now, is the bench any place for Darren Jarman?
Got to come on soon, Drew, I would expect.
Lucas floats the hand pass. Johnson back. Solomon tough at it. Hand pass partly knocked down. Oh, Mercury lightning. Gave up 15 metres to Mercedes. Under pressure, though. Adelaide putting on the pressure. Heffernan bumped off it by Burton. Heffernan pulls it in. He might be holding it. A buyer. He is.
Good call. Drew, good call.
Sounds like there's a fair representation from the Crows.
Yeah.
A bit of support for that decision. And that's been the key, that gang tackling from the Crows. They're getting numbers at the football.
So Burton got the free. The hand pass to Rasciuto. They're up towards half forward already. Under pressure, the Bombers. The hand pass back to Caracella. The hand pass further back to Jacobs, who fumbled. Wallace is there. They're losing ground in possession, but eventually good enough. Caracella. He can bounce to the defensive 50 and a bit more if he likes. Out wide to Johnson or Solomon. Dean Solomon takes it. Kick to centre half forward. Oh, Mercury can't mark. Michael Long offline.
Well, statistically, she's dead even as well, with the Crows matching Essendon. As we have a look on the super slow-mo of a big attempt, there's the Birdman doing what he does well. And that's get up in the air. But inside 50, Essendon 11, Adelaide 10. Centre clearances are 4-3 in favour of Essendon, and the hard ball gets 7-8 in favour of the Crows.
Smart flew at the back, couldn't take the mark. Heffernan underneath the pack. The umpire will ball it up. And so far today, the Birdman has been out-jumped. There was a terrific mark taken early against him, and he's done a lot of the hard bullocking work. He's laid a tackle, won a free kick. So he is not just the spectacular high marker, no doubt about that. McLeod, he gains about 35 metres for the side, and it's out between half-back flank and wing. Bombers by a point. They've won all 9 games this year. They've got the best attack in the competition, the best defence in the competition, a percentage of 155, and nobody really has got all that close to them yet. But the Crows really take it over. Oh, what a tackle! That is a sensation by Hardwick, and all you win is a baller.
Gee whiz, Tyson Edwards, I mean, there he is, Jared. He was off and going here. It's an absolute great tackle, isn't it? I mean, he was flying, Edwards, to stop a bloke in full flight. It's very strong work by Hardwick. Gee.
Just saw the arms there. He's done a lot of work on his body, has Hardwick, and that was a great tackle.
One of the best you could ever wish to see. Biglands wins. Here's Hardwick again. Pretty well named. I reckon his parents had a good sense of judgment. Ball's out of bounds. We'll have a throw in.
Just touching on the McCurry-McLeod matchup here, boys. McCurry's had 7 possessions with 1 mark. McLeod's had 6 touches, so it's been fairly even with McLeod playing on half-back flank.
Bigland's doing all right. Deep inside the 50. Comes to Mark Johnson. The hand pass away. Barnard. Just to the 50. This is a chance for the Crows if they can win it at ground level. And they might too. And the tallest bloke wins it. Wren to Smart. Oh, Stengline is cream. And the umpire eventually is going to have to say it's a ball up. And Stengline would be counting his teeth and checking on his bones, I reckon. Oh, Hardwick again.
A bit high, I thought there. I thought a bit stiff there, Stengline not getting the free kick. He's got the job on Carousel, and so far he's done a pretty good job on Carousel at this early stage of the game.
Jarman warming up, boys, about to come on.
Wren wins in ruck. Essendon ground level. Hardwick has been absolutely fantastic. Overrun by Carousel. Chance for the Crows, but grabbed by Masiti. 1-on-1. Star matchup. McLeod and McCurry. McLeod actually wins the tap, won by McCurry. Burton in support of McLeod. To Wren on the logo at centre wing. 3.5 minutes to quarter time. Terrific start by the Crows. Biglands away to Bickley. Allowances the umpire. Wallace's hand pass. Johnson knew there was trouble coming. The tap back is unsuccessful.
Well, that was a free kick. He didn't have the football.
Yeah. Welsh.
Scotty Welsh was infringed upon. He was grabbed and retarded and did not have the possession. And fair enough, Scotty, let him know. I mean, that is a free kick, surely.
There is such a thing as hometown decisions in football. It's alive and well.
That was one, Drew. Don't worry about that.
You know, if there's 45,000 baying for the free kick, it does help the umpire to give it. And the Crows probably only had 10 baying for the free kick.
Just watching McLeod, boys. He's limping at the moment. He's in the middle of the ground. I think it's too serious. Maybe a cork or something.
Deborah, you were right next to that decision. Was there any reason that wasn't paid a free kick?
No reason at all, Jerry.
Oh, Wren, that's sensational. The All-Australian ruckman down to Edwards, inside the 50.
And this is where they're just falling down a little bit. They are dropping a man back, the Bombers. Dean Wallace has picked up a number of easy possessions when his man Sean Wren goes pushing into the ruck, and Jarman is on the ground.
Vardy off.
Yep. And Jacobs finds Heffernan. He balks up to a man, draws him. Barnard, 40 metres from goal. Paul Barnard, 30 metres from goal. It didn't look great, but it's a goal.
Her story manipulated.
Did Neil Phillips threaten to kill you? No.
Her conscience faltering.
You didn't kill him, Terry.
But I wanted to.
Her future in doubt.
Premeditated murder.
All Saints, Tuesday. He calls it mercy. They're calling him Dr. Death.
She was terminally ill. She was in great pain.
When someone makes someone else die too soon, it's the too soon that makes it murder, Doctor.
Blue Healers, Wednesday.
Well, Jarman spent the first 26 minutes on the bench and now gets a run. Well, Barnard's kicked just his 3rd goal in 9 games this season, coming up from defence. It broke a bit of a deadlock. We hadn't had a score for a while. Bombers now by 7 points. Hurd's only had 1 kick, but he did kick a goal. Oh, look at that. Well played, James Hurd. That is class. To Heffernan. Lloyd works to the front. Michael Long runs on. Little toe poke for himself. The flick back to McCurry. Class all over the park. Out deliberately, the crowd want. Throw in, the umpire wants.
There he is once again. I mean, he had nowhere really to go, Bickley. He's been very good off a half-back flank. I've been very impressed so far in this game, Jerry, the way the Adelaide Crows have attacked the footy, and they've laid pretty strong tackles on the Essendon side and been very committed.
Smart became a ruckman, but McCurry got it. Heffernan's had a lot of footy for the Bombers. Lloyd, punch came from Robran, and Robran roves his own footy. Beautiful play round the boundary line, but the kick marked by Carousel. It's 50. Stengline. Well, Carousel almost made the decision.
Well, that is a joke.
That's Mickey Mouse, Gerard. That's not...
Well, it's turned a bodgy decision into a goal. I mean, he's let him go. As soon as he blew the whistle, he let him go. He was coming back.
I hate bagging umpires, Joe, but that's a shocker.
And look at Caracella.
Go for your life, Doug.
Appealing for the free. And the whistle hadn't blown until Caracella did that.
That is amazing.
So Blake Caracella. 50-metre penalty should make it a certainty. He's kicking from about 25 or 30 metres. Well, it's justice.
Well, not a lot of noise here, but I reckon about 600 k's west of here, Doug, there might have been
some yelling, I reckon, Jared, you're right. I mean, Gary Edge would have told Stegline to hold him up. That's part of your job, to hold a player up. And when you're told to let go, over umpiring, Jared, when you're told to let go, we all know you've got to let go, simple as that, but that's a joke.
Edwards kicking. Gee, that covers some ground.
What do you think of that decision, Doug?
Yeah, I gather he's not that happy. Here's Sean Wren at half forward. Rashudo spinning through the pack. Wren moving like a rover. Down to the goal square.
At the back.
Yep. Gerard, well called. That's a goal of Welsh.
He was just sitting there mopping up the crumbs. And he's made up for it because he did owe them one, Doug. I know it wasn't his man, Paul Barnard, but once you're committed to a chase, going back to the goal that Barnard kicked, you've got to forget whose man it is. You've just got to go. And here he is, just sitting at the back. It did look in flight as if it was always going to just clear the pack somewhat. And a pretty important goal just coming with 14 seconds remaining before quarter time. Just enough time for one goal if someone gets a quick clearance.
Ripper first term. 2 points the margin. And just 14 seconds left on the clock. Can we get another score? Barnes taps defensively. So it's gone the Crows' way. And once the ball didn't get out of there, that's probably going to be the last action for the quarter. But the Crows have really taken it up to Essendon here today. There's the siren, quarter time. Well done, the visitors, and the undefeated leaders are under the pump here. And I'm sure that Kevin Sheedy would know that. The Bombers are 4-4 to the Crows 4-2.
Yeah, great start by the Crows. Bombers looking pretty polished as well. Been a couple of times where then when individuals has gone for the work rather than continuing with the team play. But the Crows will go to the break with plenty of confidence for the rest of this match.
Absolute ripper. 28-26, and the Bombers in front.
In a special series.
So Mark Rashudo naturally in the middle four with Bickley, Johnson, and Marsh. And it's Johnson for the Bombers. Masiti, Blumfield, and Barnes goes up against Marsh. It comes to Rashudo. Not much distance on the kick. Hardwick was absolutely fantastic in the first quarter. Kick goes wide. Smart gets a bad bounce. Jacobs, great kick to Long. Well, Nigel Smart was stiff there. Long's kick to Mercury right in front. 30 metres out. Easy goal.
Whenever we're in need. Now discover how to nurse your loved one on the road to recovery.
The tender, loving care you give your pets can make the difference between a quick recovery and months of unnecessary trauma.
Harry's practice tonight.
Then at 7 o'clock.
It's the big series final of Popstar. As the girls head overseas, we'll bring you never-before-seen footage of Bardo behind the scenes, including exclusive revealing home videos. The series final of Popstars tonight at 7.
So the Bombers out now to an 8-point lead. First goal of the second quarter. Comes down to Johnson. Got a few Johnsons here today. Kane Johnson for the Crows. Short of half forward. Ball punched down. Burton ran on. Wren doing great work. Hand pass away to Byrne. Off to McLeod. Raking kick by McLeod. Just offline. Well, with the skills on display here today, we look as though we're going to have an absolute ripper.
Just like Drew McLeod said, Mercury, if you can kick one down this end, I'll go down and kick one down my end. Cop this back.
Actually, I'm amazed he didn't kick it. Kick by Fletcher. Wellman.
Masiti over the back, just pushing into space.
Kick by Heffernan. Up the centre wing. Masiti. Well, he needed courage then because he had to stand under that for a long time. Oh, he put it out in front. But actually, the kick didn't travel to Johnson. Smart chops it off. Well done. Kane Johnson for the Crows. The hand pass in to Marsh. Kick by Marsh to centre-half forward. Good lead. And Crowell, where's he been?
Well, I'll tell you what he does do, and that is lead, and lead very well. He presents himself with authority, and he drags the ball and drags the attention of the bloke with a football. Pretty good kick, this one from Ben Marsh. Didn't have to spear it in. He just put it into the space and allowed Crowell to take another good mark.
Crowell for his third. 52 metres out. And it's a great kick. Just offline.
Just two as well, Jared, touching on that. He's got a great pair of hands as well. There's the pass you touched on there for Marsh, Jared. Yeah, nice kick, went well. Weighted kick out in front where you want the ball to be kicked to when you're a forward. But he's got a good pair of hands too, this young fella, Crowell. Good strong hands.
Essendon straight back up the middle. Comes to Mercury. But he says to McLeod, you can go forward, I'll go forward as well. Jacobs, kick by Jacobs. Lloyd one out. Actually, it was Lucas getting back with Robrin, and Robrin doing well to rush her behind.
Do you like the move of Robrin down to centre-half back since the last few weeks he's been playing down there? He's been pretty good in the first quarter. He had 7 or 8 touches and was pretty good at centre-half back.
He's going to have a chance to get another one here, Doug.
Kick by Hart. Barnes in front. Oh, Long, how about the vision? Jacobs onto it, and Jacobs kicks the goal. Give 5 of those points to Michael Long.
Pregnant women have been, you know, wanting this for a long time. It was crazy. We were running around selling, making, trying to work out how to run a business, and we only had a single phone line. What I really wanted was an online shop, but I thought that it would cost me an arm and a leg.
Telstra helped Full Bloom create a do-it-yourself website which has streamlined their business and improved sales.
I wanted it to be easy, so I just got Telstra.
Danny Jacobs playing just his 4th game. He's just kicked his first AFL goal. Must be a great situation to be playing alongside the likes of Michael Long when they can dish it out like that. Caracella. No penetration on the kick. Real hospital ball. Defender's chance. Rasciuto. Masiti. Might have taken his eyes off it just a fraction. Hart puts it out in front of Robrin. On the bounce to Edwards. Oh, great kick. Johnson. Crows moving well. Johnson.
Oh, great kick.
Here's Burton. And this surely will be a goal to the Crows.
Just about to say there, Jared, at quarter time, Heffernan's had 10 touches, 8 inside 50. Burton 6 touches, 1 mark.
I think the impressive aspect of the Crows game at the moment has been their run from defence. They're running in numbers. They're producing waves of support. And Burton from the back line has a shot at goal.
Oh, that's a shocking kick. He's nearly kicked that with his shin. Give a bloke a rap, and what do they do to you?
The same before. I mean, the conversion rate in front of goal win a game so even in stats like kicks, marks and tackles.
Yeah, that could well be the difference. The Bombers are so talented in their forward line. They've got so many sharp shooters. You won't want to go 50-50 with them. They'll beat you.
Fletcher, a long kick to the wing. Masiti doing the hard work at ground level. Back to Wellman. A dive by Hurd. The Essendon fans love him. They call Hurdy every time. It comes to Long. Off to Johnson. He didn't have time for that. You're gone.
Good pace there from Nigel Smart.
Cross half back. Goodwin. Margin 12 points. Marsh the hand pass. Robrin getting plenty of the ball. He's up to 8 possessions.
Welsh.
Edwards to Welsh. Welsh rows his own footy, floats it. Byrne. Rasciuto. Just upended.
It's like a pinball. The umpire allowing it to go, and well done.
Comes out to Byrne. He sweeps the hand pass back to Robrin. Getting a heap of it. In front of goal. Wren with the height. Lucas back in defence. Joe Masiti. And up to the 50. Jacobs, who kicked the last goal. Back to Lucas. Look how they're covering the ground, the Bombers. And now they all dash from defence. And it makes it pretty easy for Johnson. Johnson going for a Sunday afternoon stroll. Hurd.
Well, if you had to be critical of one aspect of the Crows' plays, we wrap them up, Doug, for running from defence into attack. But if there is a turnover, you've got to get back quicker than what they're doing at the moment.
James Hird just for his second kick, looking for his second goal. 100%.
But, darling, I haven't stopped thinking about you. Distracted. I think about you all the time. There's no one else. You're the only one. The only one I think about.
The powerful Magna V6. One drive, and you're hooked. Mitsubishi.
It was great work by Lucas too. I mean, made the effort to go in the back line and set up that play.
Yeah, you're right, Dip.
Marsh palms it down. There's Johnson doing the hard stuff. Masiti, they do work hard. They're not just flashy. Kick by Masiti. Work to the front. Ball out of defence, back towards midfield. Bickley hit it very hard to Burton. Now it's wide open for the Crows. Kick by Burton is well delivered to Jarman.
I tell you what, it was a pretty good mark at the end of the day. I mean, the kick was fairly good. I mean, you got Jarman up against Dustin Fletcher, probably giving away, what, be fair to say, 4 or 5 inches here. The kick from Burton was good, as Drew said, but I tell you what, the mark was pretty spot on too.
Yeah, it's not often that Fletcher misses a spoil.
So Jarman takes a pretty long run at this and goes for the goal that they need. Oh, good mark in defence. How's this bloke stood up this year?
The last couple of years, yeah, terrific season last year.
Yeah, he did.
Here he goes, just taking on Ren. He'll do this every time. Look out.
Dean Wallace with a shepherd from Fletcher. Wallace held the ball in one hand. Oh, don't like the hand pass much. Put Long under pressure. Bickley's got it. Wren standing like the Statue of Liberty. And the punch away. Well, it might come Marsh's way. He did well. Cross in front of goal, Jarman. And you wonder why he spent 25 minutes on the bench.
Yeah, well, here he goes.
There he goes. Have a look at that.
He's got
Well, I guess
Enjoy the feeling that sparkles inside. Live every minute, enjoy the ride. Taste all the excitement that life has to give. The more you enjoy, the more you live. This is the real thing.
I should have bought a bigger esky.
The world is yours, Coca-Cola, enjoy.
Yes, just position him in the goal square. Let everybody else lead around him and leave him one-on-one. You know, in a 50-50 battle, he's going to kick you 3 or 4 a match.
Well, if he'd had 25 minutes more game time, he might have kicked about 3 more goals. Byrne. Straight to full forward. Welsh. Johnson did well to get a hand to it. Comes to Barnard. Wellman. Their system out of defence is fantastic. Johnson to Johnson. Was it baby powder, isn't it? Centre wing, Jacobs.
So just looking at the Crows, because they haven't got a tall marking forward in the goal square, there doesn't appear to be any direction as to where to go for a crumb. And we saw when Rodman kicked that ball into Sean Wren about 5 minutes ago, no support at his feet. There doesn't appear to be
enough crummers, Jared.
Enough crummers. It may be it's because there isn't that tall pole to kick the ball long to.
Yep.
Well, Wallace wanted to hang on to the ball again. Delivered to Fletcher, who's come well up, so there's nobody in defensive 50 for the Bombers. Fletcher over the top. Dean Wallace kept on going. He backs himself like he did in the prelim final last year. Long, and he's turned it over again. Coach might be saying, don't ever do it again, son. Marsh goes wide. Jarman well up the ground.
He's got no one to kick it to.
And the shot.
This is a big chance to score. 52 metres. Home she goes.
Don't worry about kicking it to anyone.
It's all about trust. Is this some kind of test? And a guilty conscience.
Dharma said that you like it hot.
Tell her how beautiful she is.
You're very beautiful.
When was the last time you had sex?
Exactly where are we going here? Dahmer and Greg tonight.
Then at 8 o'clock.
We need to socialize with other people. Go out with another couple. It'll be fun.
But get ready.
I bet they're not coming. They're 2 minutes late.
For a disaster.
Oh, you. That's true.
Third Rock from the Sun. Tonight at 8 on 7.
He can just play the game, Darren Jarman. He's a class act.
So
One of the
like
greats.
Ben Marsh doing a good job for the Crows in this turn.
Jarman's been playing about 14 minutes for 2 goals. Spent 25 minutes on the bench. They could be a mile in front if he'd been there since the start. Masiti, centre-half forward unmarked. Oh, great kick to Hurd. And James Hurd seems to get through a game without raising a sweat. Keeps getting the footy. And he's going for his 3rd goal.
I'll tell you what, Drew, not many players can change in flight. We see Joe Masiti look like, well, I thought he was going to have a shot for goal, but in mid-flight, he's changed the action to find Hurd.
That's 3 for the captain.
Well, just a very good reply, quick reply from the Bombers. You can't let them get out the ball out of the centre. If they get it out at the centre very quickly, you're just going to be left with a defender one-on-one against the leading Hurd, Lucas or Lloyd, and they're going to chop you up.
Just a great kick too, Jerry, by Joe Masiti. As I just touched on before, I thought he was having a shot for goal, but he changed his mind in mid-flight. Was terrific.
It is actually hard to believe that the game has ever been played better than the way the Bombers are playing it this year, and yet they're no certainty to win. Deep inside the 50, it comes to Smart. Skills on display today have been absolutely fantastic. Ramanaskas worked hard under the pack. Comes to Mercury, didn't have much time. Hardwick went round the corner to inside 50. Rovers wanted for the Bombers. Byrne goes to ground. Hurd again. He's lost it. Rashudo with pure strength. The Wakery wonder. But the kick astray, marked by Caracella. Now don't go for a run this time, Dean Wallace. And the crowd have cheered, and he's waved back to them in acknowledgement that the crowd gave him the raspberry. And I reckon the coach probably is giving him something as well.
Oh, look out, Birdman.
Oh, that was a moment to treasure. The crowd roared at Wallace, and just after he delivered the kick, he waved back to the crowd. McLeod, wide to Edwards. Great game here at Colonial. 12-point lead to the Bombers. Edwards deep to full forward. Wren with the height. Masiti actually the spoil. It comes to the Birdman. It's 6 points the difference. Burton's first goal. Great game of footy.
Yeah, great game of footy. We just see there in the replay here shortly that Wren brought the ball down. Burton's playing on the wing at the moment on Heffernan. Here we are. We see Wren, good handwork to bring the ball down to the front here. The ball bounced past Wellman over to Burton. As I said, the Burton-Heffernan contest on the wing's been terrific so far in this game. And a good goal to Brett Burton.
Yeah, just got to have that tall player down there.
Back in the middle for the bounce. 6 points the margin. 8-5 to 7-5 midway through the second quarter. And the Crows, you wonder how they lost their first 5 straight this year. Rashudo bursts out of the middle. Wren just clears him. Fletcher at the back. That's great for a big bloke. He's picked it up at shin height to Jacobs. And the ball out of bounds. Now let's have a look at a bit of fun we had between Wallace and Jarman a little bit earlier on. And Jarman saying to Wallace, when you get it, son, kick it long. Give it heaps. And Wallace, yeah, okay. And that is beautiful. Look at DJ. Burton off the left, inside the 50. Oh, Mercurial skills. Long, great speed. Couldn't quite handle. He's tapped it back and they've lost it. The hand pass, Dengline to McLeod. To the front of the pack. Fletcher over the head of Jacobs. Hardwick missed with the hand pass. Oh. Wellman, that's deliberate, son.
Ooh. Lesio on now, boys. Barnes having a bit of a breather, so Lesio will match up with Marsh.
I wonder how many bricks went through TV screens in South Australia just then.
No, it's a nonsense, that rule. The way it's interpreted.
Hit to have a kick, JB, Johnny Barnes in this game so far. They're only the 6 hit-outs.
Ben Marsh doing a terrific job.
The umpire calls for the ball up. This is only about 15 metres out, right in front. Crows attacking, and if they get a goal out of this, the scores will be level. So the Bombers haven't been put under this much pressure this year. Fletcher did well. Straight to the opposition, though. Burns kick. Almost up and down the mine shaft. Oh, juggled by Crowell, no mark. It comes through the pack. Johnson's there. Kane Johnson keeps it in. Bigland's missed it. That is a behind. Johnson did very well. And Bigland's had a shot from about 4 metres out behind.
Inside 50 this quarter, boys. Essendon 7, Adelaide 11.
Heffernan. I really get the impression that the players are enjoying playing in this confined stadium with the roof closed. It is just like playing, I don't know, snooker on a perfectly balanced table. Oh, look at this.
Pot blank.
You know, in the days you played, you had to go through ankle-deep mud. I can remember the MCG when it was a sand pit to try and cover up the bare patches and mud.
You had a cricket wicket in the middle of just about every ground that turned to, not sure how you'd describe it, Doug. Let's say mud.
Manure.
I used to love it.
Oh, you got it right this time. Magnificent.
Down at Moorabbin, and if they were losing 2 matches in a row, they'd just flood the joint.
Same to Whitten Oval.
Great kick.
What a shot. Great goal by Perry.
Want a low-maintenance, cost-effective way to enhance your garden? The answer is ground covers.
And they can actually help protect your garden.
And a fabulous, easy-to-cook lamb dish that's a perfect budget beater. On Better Homes and Gardens, Tuesdays 7:30. Then at 8. Fancy a Noosa family holiday without the Noosa prices? Welcome to Noosaville.
What could be better than your very own floating restaurant?
And for shopaholics, KL offers dollar value that's hard to beat. On the Great Outdoors, Tuesday.
Gary Ayres would be pleased with the way his team's going today. They lead the unbeaten Bombers by a point past the halfway mark in the second quarter. And the goal coming from Ian Perry after a terrific mark at centre-half forward. And they work pretty well again. Here's a chance for Goodwood. He's kicked it!
Well, take your hat off, Crow supporters, to Ben Marsh and Mark Rasciuto doing a very good job. And I guess you've got to say Simon Goodwin also, who's followed James Hird into the middle of the ground, has also been a fine contributor for him. Look at the pace here of Goodwin. He's, well, we know what a player he is. He's done a great job for Malcolm Blight in grand finals before. And he is a player yet to be anywhere near his best.
I said, Jared, before early in that first quarter, I just had that feeling the Crows had come here to play a bit of footy today, and I tell you what, their commitment's been great and their attack on the footy's been first class.
Well, if I were you over in South Australia, I'd ring up all your friends on the mobile and get them into the TV set. This could be a ripper day for the Adelaide Crows here. Ramanaskas tackled over the boundary line, and Kane Johnson wanted to go on with it. Great spirit by the Crows. This was a team that in the first 5 rounds lost to the Dogs, Collingwood, Geelong, Eagles and Brisbane. They lost to the Eagles by 94 and were disgraceful. Bickley.
Ben Marsh once again.
Ran. Almost. Well played, big fella. Playing with real spirit, the Crows. That's a ball up at centre-half forward or inside. It's only 30 metres from goal.
Well, they're getting stitched up in the middle of the ground at the present time, the Bombers, and they're going to have a look at their personnel. They've pushed James Hird in, but we believe he has got the flu and he's taken it into the game, so he's not going to be able to run too hard for too long there. But Ben Marsh is the biggest concern. Johnny Barnes has got to be a Brownlow medal chance, and he's stitched him up, and he's doing the same to Alessio.
Although Alessio wins this one. Well done, Perry. Gets the ball to Vardy. Vardy's kick. Covers Fletcher. Offline.
Just the physical pressure of the Adelaide Crows have been fantastic all around the ground.
Fletcher kicks in. to Smokin' Joe Masiti. 14 possessions for him, and we're 6 minutes short of half-time. Heffernan to half-forward. Lloyd a long way from goal, couldn't take the mark. Wellman the hand pass to Hurd. Hurd again. This is a pass, I reckon, not a shot for goal.
Maybe not during this one, I don't think.
That was a shot.
I think it was a shot. You're right, Deb.
Gee,
Little mongrel.
Yeah, love canning blokes.
What do you reckon,
I'm a
Gerald?
rap for him.
Oh, no, definite pass.
This is Mark Johnson in the forward pocket. And he goes right across, back to Hurd. No mark. Well, they'll get another shot. Wellman. And he hooked it back too far. Out of bounds on the full.
So I reckon I would have taken a punt with the old boomerang.
I reckon you're right there, Gerard. I mean, he's kicked the ball 55 metres to the other side of the ground. Unusual.
Coach might have said kick it long, but that's...
I kicked it too long.
Just thanking Hurdy for his pass. 50-metre defence. Robrin. Oh, great running by Burton. He not only can jump, he can run. And kick. Got all the skills. It bounces on. Alessio gets back there. Oh, great body work. Vardy. Oh, he's taken high, Vardy. Free kick.
Well, I'm not sure what Steve Alessio was thinking there. He just tried to knock the player out rather than... Not knock him out, but knock him out of the way, rather than just going for the football. And whilst it didn't directly result in this free kick, if he had of control... Look at this. Here it is. Rather than going the ball, he's gone the man that's come up with the free kick.
Oh, he's put the head down too, Gerald, but then again, you must protect the player playing the football.
Well, the fans have all seen it on the big screen, all their little screens that fold out from the armrest, and they don't like the decision. Vardy.
Hit the post.
Yep. Another poster at Colonial.
Well, I think the football gods are squaring up a few bodgy umpiring decisions at this stage.
Lucas coming off, boys. Buick going on. Mark Johnson is also off, and we have Solomon on.
Lucas has had 5 possessions. Peter Vardy so far today has had 3 shots at goal for 2 behinds and 1 out of bounds. Last week he kicked 5 goals. Johnson. Jason Johnson towards centre wing. Long. Socket away by Jarman. Barnard just gets the kick away. Lloyd a long way from goal. Showed a bit of courage. Don't reckon he took his eyes off it for a moment. Solomon. Bickley ran in front position. And the spoil goes out of bounds. Top game here. Crows by 9 points. And we've got 4 minutes to half-time.
Wouldn't be a stage this year, Gerald. I don't think at half-time Essendon would be behind, would they?
Maybe only Collingwood, Doug. I think on Anzac Day they were just
2 goals behind then, yeah.
A couple of goals.
Okay.
But normally they have roared out of the blocks and just spaced them. Done a Vaux Road. Holding the ball. Can't dive in and pluck the ball back.
Robert in the centre of the ground.
Just the 16 possessions to Mark Prosciutto to this stage. He's been once again a real star in the middle for the Crows. And he's lifted this club out of a very big hole some 4 or 5 weeks ago, and really leading as a great player does.
So Ben Marsh. We might look back on the season and say the first 5 weeks were a waste of time. Collingwood were 5-0. Yep. Adelaide were 0-5. Marsh kicked right to the line, but offline.
Sure, we've just seen a lot of Adelaide. Their second half this year has been fantastic. They ran over Port Adelaide, of course.
Yep.
The game against Hawthorn was terrific.
Well, they're a different club now, than they were, a different team anyway, than they were
St Kilda,
a month ago. And I think a lot of it's got to do with Ben Marsh. He's been a real star for them in recent weeks. And Prosciutto, he's just continuing his fine season. And there's no doubt that they came into this season with a number of their players like Rand and McLeod, who was struggling for a little bit of form and had a delayed or an interrupted pre-season. They are finding some form now. And with Goodwin back in this, well, Goodwin playing pretty good football and Johnson also playing excellent football after a delayed start, they've got their midfield running again, and that's what has created the opportunities up forward.
There's Sheeds having a bit of a chat, trying to work out a few moves, I'd imagine, around that midfield, as you touched on, Gerald. I think their backline's been good too, the Adelaide Crows. We know Robin's a real big kick, but geez, his foot skills at short delivery is very good as well.
He's had a good year.
Prosciutto, another possession. Wren has really been busting up packs and contesting. Vardy. Look at this.
He's a good player, this bloke.
Isn't he ever? Kane Johnson. Crowell pulled off it. Goes to Bickley. And through for a minor score.
Well, Matthew Lloyd's just pushing out to centre-half forward, trying to find the footy. He is... he's getting hot. He's just getting cold down there. Ball hasn't been in the Essendon forward line for 5 minutes or more.
Had 2 kicks, Gerard, for only the 1 goal.
I tell you what, I don't think that Sheedy will be playing Hurd and Lloyd at centre-half back today and fiddling around with the side. He'll need the blokes in the best position to get the points. Here's Hurdy. Spoil came from McLeod, and he went on with it. Hurd flung to the ground. Well, the Essendon fans saying, you can't do that to our boy. He's our hero. And even Hurdy says, can't up. Fair crack of the whip. Adelaide inside 50, 17-8 this quarter. Clean possession, Caracella. Then he hooked it in. Ooh, Blake Caracella might have been a bit lucky there. Minute and a half to go to half-time, and the Crows really taking it to the Bombers. And Hurd's got to go off with blood here. So he's had a bad minute, James Hurd.
Good play before by McLeod to leave his opponent, to make Hurd to punch that ball away from James Hurd. So good football by McLeod has been terrific so far in this game.
Well, if the blood's at the back of his head, which we think it is, it came from the attempted spoil from Andrew McLeod.
That wasn't paid as a free kick.
Wasn't paid as a free kick or a mark, and it could well have been either. Let's have a look at it. Here he is. Does he control the ball? Probably temporarily. Would have been enough. And, well, the spoil was clearly too high. And that tackle was probably too high also.
Yeah, it's a fair elbow
He's got
to
a
the
decent
head.
cut too. Don't worry about that.
It's a good whack.
Don't forget the shaven head for this one.
Alessio on all fours. Bickley sweeps the hand pass. Comes to Hardwick. Lloyd juggles. Play on, no mark.
Play, McLeod.
McLeod just brilliant to Goodwin. And the Crows can get one more here before half-time. Got a bit of space, Robin.
He's going to go long to Wren.
And Fletcher from behind. Well, he should have marked once he got there. Solomon for the Bombers. Sweeps it out. Solomon gets it back from Alessio. In trouble. Had to give it away in a hurry to Hardwick. Crows have got it. Free kick to Hardwick.
But the pressure's starting to tell, and they have got some good players like Hardwick holding firm under the pressure, but the handball from Alessio put him under the pump. And that was a courageous
That
throw.
is courageous. That is a VC job for Burton.
It's amazing, isn't it? He's playing in the Sandful a couple of weeks ago, and today he's one of their best players.
Magnificent, Mark. I love watching him play. Crows lead by 10 points. Just seconds remaining. They need a mark and a kick for goal from this. And that'll probably be the last score of the quarter. Wonderful first half of football at Colonial. Whatever they paid for their medallion memberships has been worth it for that 1 hour of football. Terrific. And what a performance by the Crows. 9-9 to 8-5.
Yeah, we're seeing a great brand of footy here, Drew, and I think the Colonial Stadium's image may have taken a major step forward today, Doug. It's pouring with rain outside, it's windy and it's wet. And inside here, we've got the game's skills on display, and we're not getting robbed of any of the hard, tough work which we just saw from the Birdman. This is just a magnificent spectacle. 2 excellent teams, one the outright premiership favourites, and another who are getting themselves out of a big hole and playing outstanding footy. Good second half coming up for sure, Drew.
Well, the Crows came from behind. They trailed by 2 points at quarter time and by more than that during the second quarter. But they lead at half-time by 10, 9-9 to 8-5.
Here's a family who wants to enhance their outdoor living area and add value to their home with...
Bring it to him.
Well, he wouldn't be upset or intimidated by Dean Wallace. he's had a brother, Andrew Jarman, for so long to be doing similar sorts of stuff to him. So one of the class acts of the competition. He's happy to involve himself in gamesmanship, isn't he, Doug?
No doubt about that, Jared. Wallace didn't say one word to him.
And I reckon the one man they've got to get firing is John Barnes in the middle of the Bombers if they're to fire up. What do you think, Deb?
Well, the pressure the Crows have given the Bombers players in that first hour was just fantastic. We've just seen on screen then Dean Wallace will be starting off on the bench. And look, it's just terrific football. They're playing with a lot of confidence. And Darryl Hart did say, I mean, they've been getting the ball in their 50-metre arc all year, but unfortunately their conversion rate, but at the moment they're in front. But the Bombers, you know, how good they are, just need to, you know, get back to a bit of hard football and a bit of long kicking. Try and find Lloyd and Lucas.
Well, can the Crows keep it up? Bombers find themselves in an unusual position, trailing at half-time. Barnes wins. Hurd, who had his head patched up at half-time, no doubt, and wins the first free kick of the second half. Interestingly, starting in midfield for the second half. Ramanascus round on his left. Long to full forward. Pushed out right in front, McCurry. And McCurry says, up, fire. It comes to Edwards, the hand pass. Barnard, he threw that. A few frees going unpaid here. McLeod out of defence. Wobbly old kick towards centre wing. Skips past Solomon. Well done by Perry. Jarman beautifully picked up. And what a kick by DJ. Fletcher, one of the best defenders in the competition. Rashudo. Long. Fletcher left the line. Crowell gets back. Well, Hardwick has played a wonderful game for the Bombers. He wants the white line. He wasn't looking for a teammate. White line he gets.
Drew, at half-time we went for a bit of a walk around the bleachers here, and the general perception and feeling of Essendon supporters was that it's only a matter of time they're going to come back and win this match like they stitched up the Pies, but not so certain about that.
Well, even if a little bit of that gets into the players' heads, that's when you can lose a game.
I reckon the football displayed by the Crows is as good a footy as we've seen for the year.
Absolutely. Kick round the corner on the turn by Goodwin. Blumfield back on the line. Clears the 50. Land in no man's land. Ramanascus the hand pass. Upfield from Wellman. Masiti, good pick up. Joey gets rid of it somehow. He threw it at the umpire. It's gone against him. Wren. Sean Wren. Sizzling pass. And Jarman on the end of it to capitalise again.
Yes, their foot skill's been very good today so far, Jared. Looks like now Robin has gone back to full back because of the fact that he played so good at centre-half back, in the first half for the Crows. Alessio's gone deep, so looks like now that move has to really get Robin back up to centre-half back now to play back onto Lucas.
47 metres. It sails goalwards. Gets home.
Here's a couple who are preparing for a family extension.
Into this mess. It'll be lovely. We've got a beautiful little freeze to go around.
Here's the Mitre 10 specialist
I recommend Axic.
with all the advice you need.
Brand, stain resistant. Yeah, something that's stain resistant. Very good value, and in all the colours that you can see there. We'd cut in around the corners, then fill in the main area with the roller.
From a store that understands it's not just the low price.
I told you it would be perfect.
It's getting the right advice that really saves you money.
Not sure about Barnard on Jarman. I think Jarman's just too clever for Barnard. I'd like to see maybe Hardwick go across to Jarman at this stage of the game.
Hurd playing on the ball. He couldn't get boot to ball.
I'll give you the benches, boys, while we've got a bit of a breather. Johnson, Dean Wallace, Carousella, Jacobs, and that's Jason Johnson, Scotty Welsh, Vardy, Big Lands, and Gallagher.
Thanks, Dipper. Marsh gets it down. Well, that's over in the back by Hurd. Well, there's no free kick. Comes to Kane Johnson. His kick to the forward line. Well, Jarman went to ground this time. It was Crowell. Taken by Hardwick. He's cornered. Just gets out of trouble. Up the line to Johnson. Oh, in midfield, Joey Masiti. How can you find that much room on a footy field? Incredible. Blumfield. Draws the man. Pops it over the top of Burton. Might get it back. Heffernan a little bit slow. Burton did well. Crows doing well all over the park. Heffernan, intercept by Robran. Spills for Burton. And over the line.
And that's the pressure we spoke about in that first half. You know, maybe they're just trying a bit too hard. They've got to get that ball on the long kick. We'll see the replay here.
Now, is Hurd into the back there or not? Over the shoulder, in the back, the lot. Here goes James Hurd. One-hander. Terrific mark, Ben Hart. And so far, Matthew Lloyd has struggled to be an influence. He's had 2 kicks. McLeod. Great pass. And I like to look at this young fella, James Byrne, playing his 8th game. Comes out wide to Jarman.
Book's on here.
Just got away a little bit from Vardy.
Gerard, the Crows is playing in front. Every time there's a umpire decision, you know, the Essendon players will look at the umpire and say, he held me, or, you know, that was holding the ball or whatever.
Yeah, they're certainly doing a great job at the moment, the Crows. I read an article by Graham Corns a couple of days ago saying the midfield was the key to this battle, and at the moment he's been proved 100% right, with Goodwin playing particularly well, Johnson having a great game with Rashudo, and Ben Marsh and Wren, when they're doing their work in the ruck, also firing.
Free kick to Stenglein. Tyson Stenglein, former West Australian under-18 captain. Deep inside the 50. Hurd just cruises through packs like they're not even there. Gets it back from Barnes. Great play by Hurd. Look at that. Just phenomenal footy. He hasn't had all that much of it, but it's just been class.
Heffernan alone.
Well, Blumfield is 40 metres in the clear. Gets to the 50. Goes for Alessio or the score. Gets neither.
Well, for such a heralded forward line, the Bombers are really struggling to make the most of their opportunities. Lloyd appears to be trying to lead too early, and he's not getting on the end of the passes. And the delivery into the forward line has been under so much pressure that they are really struggling at the moment up there with so many great players.
Comes to Hurd. Hand pass knocked down by Robran. That was great play. Rashudo out of defence. A lot of height, not much distance. Perry with a climb. And Perry with the roving. That's great for play. Hart. Marsh. Long on the mark. Marsh just gets his hands free. Bickley. Well, which way do you see that? Umpire says it's high. Bickley out in front. And Vardy is right in front, no more than 35 metres from goal.
I think you did right, Jared, about their forward line. They've got the big forward line with Lloyd. Alessio now back there as well with Lucas. The only real small forward at this stage is probably Buick, who's playing up the ground as well, and Mercury on a half-forward flank who does get the ground as well.
It looked to me, Doug, as if they need someone just to stay in the square and wait back and hold the lead back. Everyone else goes up the ground, then it becomes a one-on-one situation, but everybody's pushed well up the field.
This for a 22-point lead. And it's a goal. And Peter Vardy.
Are you sure you know what you're doing, Frank? Everything's tied off. I'm safe. Do you want me to move the car?
Did you know that if your car's insured with Amy, you can get up to 45% discount on our home and contents insurance?
Well, the Bombers have been bullying every other side this year, but today they're being bullied. Well, the Crows didn't win 2 successive flags for nothing just a couple of years ago. Well, McLeod climbing from behind. He rode the ball. Great play. Awkward. It's taken by Johnson. Kicked by Johnson to the 50. Lucas. Smart. Got him early. Essendon fans want a free kick. Play on, says the umpire. Edwards. Alessio keeps it in.
Right. Got Barnes on his own here.
Lucas. And he's just on the ground. Buick. Well, he kicked the banana on the run when he probably didn't need to and missed to the right.
Well, I think I caught Johnny Barnes on his own there, just 5 metres behind the goal square there. The kick should have been just set up there. I mean, the screw kick, if you're going to do it, you've got to kick a goal. When you've got a bloke on his own, kick the football to him.
Yeah, there's been a few signs of this over the last few weeks, Doug, that the forward line of the Bombers are starting to play like individuals rather than as a team.
Does love a goal, doesn't he? Darren Buick.
He does love a goal, but I reckon he broke the team rule there. The kick was there to John Barnes.
Robrin, been excellent. 4 marks. And that's 12 disposals. Up to half forward. Solomon, good hands, Wellman. Masiti put it out in front of his teammate and said, you go and get it. And he didn't. Wren's got it. Oh, well done, Smart. And they're off and running again, the Crows. This is terrific. Long to full forward. It gets through Hardwick. Fletcher at the back. Crowell's got it. Burton to the goal square. Oh, magnificent defence by Hurd. Well played, James Hurd.
How did he get that?
That was going to be a Crows goal for sure and certain. And look at James Hurd.
Oh, gee whiz. Just brilliant football by James Hurd.
And the eyes were bulging. He is pumped. But I tell you, he still looks as though he gets through a game without raising a sweat. Bit of a cut to the back of the head late in the first half. Might have even had a stitch at half-time. Barnard playing for a free kick. You want to play the ball there. Oops. Lost it in midfield again. Rashudo, well done. Crowell, the hand pass too far ahead of his teammate Bickley. Chopped off by Barnard. Across half-back. Burton leads the race. Here's the full package. He can run and he can jump.
I'll tell you what Gerard just said before about Mark Rashudo, how important he is to this side, particularly in his leadership and his midfield drive. He's had 24 touches in this game. He's been brilliant.
No, he's been a great player, no question about that. One of the best midfielders in the competition, Mark Rashudo.
Rashudo again. Intercept by Lloyd, who's on a half-back at the moment for the Bombers. Fletcher, the full-back, is forward of the wing. Long to full forward, McCurry and McLeod. 1-on-1, 2 champions. Into Long, another champion. But he was beaten to it, Michael Long, by Bickley. Terrific coverage of the footy ground by the Crows.
I just wonder with Fletcher whether or not it's not time for him to go forward. They do need something different there, Doug. And I just think that they need someone to take a mark to change the balance of this game, because if it goes as is, if the status quo continues, they're going to get pumped, the Bombers.
Lloyd now playing centre-half back on Sean Wren.
Well, that'd mean, Dougie, that'd mean, Dipper, that perhaps a move has already been made with Fletcher.
Well, I just think the same thing as you, Gerard. Then I thought when I saw Fletcher kick that ball around the centre of the ground, I thought maybe, as you thought there, maybe it's time to go forward. I think he has.
Well, Kevin Sheedy surprised me. I didn't think that Lloyd would go back there in a game that had to be won. Thought he might just go back there when the game was already won, which he did earlier this season. Lucas, it spins back for a goal.
Whoa! The Repco Big League Legends have the prices on the board. Series 500 wash, polish and tyre cleaner from $3.75. Ryco oil filters from just $5.75. Air filters from $8.95. Castrol XL 25W60 for older engines, 5 litre super deal, $11.95. Bosch brake pads, 12-month, 20,000-kilometre warranty from $48. Legendary brands at legendary prices at your nearest Repco store.
So Kevin Sheedy has turned the side upside down. Hurd on the ball. Lloyd in defence. Fletcher on the forward line. Blumfield away. That's a beautiful low pass. Touch, play on. And he just got boot to ball. Buick. And away to Burton. Perry provided the step ladder. Heffernan. Hardwick. One-on-one contest. Good one. Crowd yelling Hurdy every time it comes near him. Crows by 15 points. Pretty big goal that Lucas kicked just before going to the bench. It was 22, and if the Crows had got the next one, it's going to be a long way back. Marsh. Burton takes it from Goodwin. Solomon. Out to Johnson. Along the line goes Johnson, and Rashudo, not a possession for that, but he just made sure the forwards weren't going anywhere. Terrific stuff, Mark Rashudo. Here's Scotty Lucas, who just sat down after kicking a goal. Here's the player nearest to us, and Caroselli gets it out. Edwards has got it for the Crows. And pass to himself. Perry's given him something. Only 3 marks. Out on centre wing. Midway through the 3rd quarter. Crows in charge of the unbeaten Bombers at Colonial. Roof shut on a windy Melbourne day. Comes to Wellman. Short of half forward. They've all pushed up the ground. Nobody on the forward line for the Bombers. It's not going to their forward line anyway. It's going to the Crows' forward line. They have some numbers up here. Smart crashes through. Over his head, Wren. Well done by Byrne. Floated to Burton. Burton shot for goal. Not far off. And behind.
I'm just watching Matty Lloyd, how he plays his centre-half back at the moment. He just looks a little lost there. Just keep an eye on him, Gerard.
Yeah, look, I was having a look at exactly the same thing. I know Robert Walls thought that when he was shifted to centre-half back against Carlton, that he proved one thing, that he couldn't play centre-half back. So it's an interesting move from Kevin Sheedy in the panel, and I guess we're going to find out again because they're under the pump here, the Bombers.
Johnson, the kick to midfield. Blumfield has got plenty of space and should kick a goal from 48, but he missed it.
Just got to kick those, Jerv, when you're sort of at your role as a midfielder, goal kicker. He's got the ability to kick those 3 or 4 goals in a game, but you must kick those. Tackles so far this quarter, Essendon 2, Adelaide 10. They've maintained the pressure on the Bombers.
Well, the Bombers have had the momentum for the last 6 or 7 minutes, but have come up with just the 1 goal, and it will swing.
Robrin at centre-half back, away to Smart. They've got choices, and Rashudo's about the best choice. He's dominated. Comes back to Smart. Beautiful kick. Here's Lloyd sweeping up in defence. He kicked the first goal of the game, but he's had only 3 kicks now. Hurd, and that's disappointing from James Hurd, out of bounds on the full.
I just reckon if I was Gary Ayres at the moment, I'd isolate Darren Jarman in their forward line, particularly with Barnard on him. I'd have him one-on-one in the goal square. Plenty of room for Jarman.
Seedy floats a hand pass over the top to Johnson. Fletcher has enjoyed a bit of freedom going forward this year. Great kick to McCurry. Oh, socked away by McLeod. And now he's 20 metres in the clear. There's a Shepherd off the ball. Long and Bickley hit the deck. The umpire said play on. McLeod's kick up to Kane Johnson. And that ball got over the line for a throw-in.
Well, once again, the Bombers are being caught with nobody in their goal square, and Matthew Robin's doing a very good job because every time the ball goes into his forward line, he's dragging Alessio right up the ground, and Alessio just hasn't got the pace to sprint back to supply a target.
Goodwin. Very good at boot height. Oh, good strength. Magnificent by Jarman to work off his opponent. And his opponent is the midget.
Sure. Drew, I tell you, this is always going to be the problem, Jared, with Jarman. It's just his football brain is just so clever, particularly in those tight situations where it's one-on-one. Yep. He'll beat you every time. I mean, Barnard's hard on the footy and he's good in that area, but he's just good at the right moment, Jarman.
Yes, fair enough. Jarman for his 4th. Crows fans like it.
They're having this contest and Elaine and I are in.
Tina Turner's backup singer. I can understand Elaine entering, but you?
This is Ali's dream, and nothing's gonna stop her. It was an accident. Ali meets Tina Turner, Monday. It's a job offer too good to refuse.
He'd be great with kids.
The job may just be what the doctor ordered.
But affairs of the heart.
I can't figure out who I am, Sid.
Never run smooth.
Can't run away.
Providence, Wednesday on 7.
There's Mark Harvey having a bit of a look there and a good think about the situation. Lucas back on two at this stage, and Alessio having a bit of a spell.
Well, it looks better that way because Lucas has got the greater pace to get back into the forward line to supply that target.
Joe Massini stole the ball. It was daylight robbery. Mark not quite completed. Fletcher the hand pass out. Mercury and Lucas onto it for a goal.
Well, he needed the pace in, and what an important goal it was. 3 goals now to Scotty Lucas, and an important reply was the deficit was becoming very alarming. And it was just a much better matchup, I think, Scotty Lucas on Matthew Robran. Robran's got too much pace for Alessio, and he can exploit him. But this time, Alessio, in fact, Lucas does the damage. And be pretty pleased with that one after being on the bench a minute or so ago.
Who's been now made is the Lloyd picking up Wren, and now Wellman picking up
Crowell.
Thanks, Boyd.
Rashudo burst through, but this time went without the ball. Smart gets the hand pass. Rashudo kept going forward to the ball into Burton, chopped off by Jacobs. Just as well Danny Jacobs was there. Caracella. And all the way to the line for a throw-in. Well, the margin 15 points. It had been 22 points in favour of the Crows earlier this quarter.
Good job by Stenglein. He's only had a few possessions himself, but he certainly blanketed Caracella.
Jacobs punches from behind. Wren has worked very hard. Whistle's gone. Off the ball, a free kick. You know it's an Essendon free kick. Listen to the mob.
All the mothers have gone up as one.
Johnson takes it to Jacobs. Danny Jacobs playing just his 4th AFL game. Former All-Australian, under 18. Mark Mercury takes the mark with a bit of dash and zip. Great kick. Lloyd back on the forward line. Pops it over the top. And Caracella, that was good running by the Bombers.
Geez, it's good play by Lloyd there. As Dipper touched on before, he's playing at centre-half back on Wren, but the fact John Barnes dropped back on the Wren, so it allowed Lloyd to go forward. So good football by the Bombers.
Well, this is no easy kick. Pressure situation, tight angle. Caracella hasn't had a great record in recent times of kicking set goals, but he's been pretty good this year, so let's see how he goes.
Silence was the reply.
Didn't drop it at all well.
Well, that's 2 behinds to Blake Caracella today, and in this game last year, he kicked 6 against the Crows at Footy Park, 6 goals. Hart kicks in.
Once again, the Bombers just not taking the full toll of their opportunities. Crows go forward and they're kicking just about every goal that they get presented.
Stenglein back to McLeod.
Dangerous.
Yeah, it was dangerous. Smart couldn't take the mark.
Turnover, loose players everywhere. It was a matter of who's going to grab it.
Lucas played on and came unstuck. Then Caracella gave away the hand pass, and the Crows are going to get out of it. Smart spirals one to half forward, and Lloyd back in his, where he's playing at centre-half back, takes the mark. I nearly said rightful place. I don't think it's his rightful place by any means. Ramanauskas.
Fletcher at the back.
And he climbs and marks!
Jared called it.
Jared, take over the calling. Great call.
That was a good move from Fletcher. He was just lurking from about 40 metres from the goal, and he was just heading, and you could see Ramanauskas look up. He was the obvious target. Beautiful kick from him, but it would not have been a shot at goal unless Fletcher had the athleticism and raw talent to do what we just seen now.
You called it beautifully, Jared. Well spotted.
Well, it's easy to call him, Dougie.
Yeah.
It's tough to make it happen like Fletcher.
And Fletcher gets the goal.
They help us whenever we're in need. Now discover how to nurse your loved one on the road to recovery.
The tender, loving care you give your pets can make the difference between a quick recovery and months of unnecessary trauma.
Harry's practice tonight.
Then at 7 o'clock,
It's the big series final of Popstar. As the girls head overseas, we'll bring you never-before-seen footage of Bardo behind the scene, including exclusive revealing home video. The series final of Popstars, tonight at 7.
So Fletcher, who was a premiership player as a schoolboy, he's kicked just 9 goals in 137 league games, but he's got 5 of them this year.
And Gary Ayres has responded to Lloyd being pushed out onto Wren by making Wren now the full forward, getting Lloyd away from a position where he can run.
Rashudo, you're gone holding the ball. So a bit of momentum going the Bombers' way at the moment. They trail by just 8 points. They were down by 22 earlier this quarter. The kick wide. Johnson. Edwards went very hard at him. Ramanaskas in the direction of Fletcher again. This time he weighted down. Lucas back over his shoulder. Across the face of goal. Caracella still after it with Stengline, and the ball out of bounds.
Well, it's looking better for the Bombers at the moment. The Lucas-Robran matchup looks as if, Doug, it's in favour at this stage of Essendon, although Scotty Lucas is, well, every time he gets the footy at the moment, he's looking to kick a goal rather than just get a team goal. Well done.
I'm just wondering that situation there, Gerard. Do you move Robin across maybe to Fletcher? And could Hart handle Lucas? Would Hart be able to handle Lucas?
Oh, I think Hart could handle Lucas, but I'm not sure that Robin would be able to go with Fletcher. The pace of Fletcher is just extraordinary for a man so tall.
Okay.
Great smother by Michael Long. Another kick for Rashudo. Kane Johnson loses out to Masiti.
Had a good 5 minutes, Ramanaskas.
Sure has. To full forward. It's up for grabs here for the Bombers. Tapped on by Long.
Well done, Robin.
And Rashudo again. Barnard gives chase. And out of bounds was pretty good then for the Crows.
Yeah, Rashudo now has had 29 touches and been that man in the middle of the ground. Altea's been very good too. Brett Burton, we've seen him can tag go forward. Played today on a wing. He's had 21 touches, been pretty good and kicked a goal.
And they've responded, the Bombers. They've dropped Solomon back. And Lloyd's come now out onto, or out to centre-half back.
Johnson, clever. Ramanaskas. Why hasn't he played more game time? Adam Ramanaskas. Killed him since he's been there. That's a high tackle surely on Edwards. No whistle. Comes to Byrne. Ramanaskas again. Brilliant to Mercury. Out in front of Long. Michael Long for goal. Bombers are back in town.
Butterfly Rich Range, $5.99. West End Draft, $25.99.
Angus Fruit, $7.99.
Lone Gum Range, $7.99.
Bacardi Rum, $23.99. Poets Corner Table Range,
$8.99.
you know those the stuff ups in the ad that just have me going
If you like to sip and you want to save, you can't go past your local sip and save.
Ramanaskas has had 8 possessions, and the Bombers have come from 22 points down to trail by just 2. We've got under 2 minutes to three-quarter time. Forward they go again to Hurd. No mark. Caracella to Hurd. Took it all the way to ground. Rashudo. 30 possessions to Mark Rashudo. His season average for a game is 28, and he's got over a quarter to build on 30. Ball out of play.
Just looking down the forward line here, Gerard, looks like Robin may have gone to Fletcher unless Hart's been caught out. So it's a bit of a punt, as you said, maybe in the speed department where Fletcher may test Robin, particularly over the first 5 metres.
Well, we'll find out. Trying to find Scotty Lucas. Has he gone up into the ruck? No, he's out at centre-half forward, and Hart's gone with him. So they've called that one, Doug.
Burt crashing his way through. Well, Rashudo tucked the ball in, went the ground in a multi-tackle. Kevin Sheedy is down at ground level. Well, it'll test his skill in the coaching department, and it's already tested him. And some of the moves in the third quarter have paid off because, well, the Bombers were down by 4 goals and going further.
We've got to get some fresh legs out there, the Adelaide Crows, just to give them some momentum. Kim Costa's on the bench. He hasn't had a run all match.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't hurt just to throw him into the middle of the ground.
Yeah, good call, Jared. No doubt about that. He's got to come onto the ground now. Maybe on Mercedes or someone like that in their midfield.
Just to rotate the chemistry, get the balance back in their favour.
Kicked by Stenglein just outside the 50. Vardy caught in a terrific tackle by Hardwick. He is the hardest nut as a defender you could ever wish to see.
Oh, he's got a good dose of white line fever as well. But he keeps it within the rules, and he just goes hard at the footy.
There's Gary Ayres on screen. I'm just watching Lloyd's playing on Darren Jarman now. There's got to be a change there.
Ball out of bounds on the full. It mightn't have been until they moved the boundary lines in here about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Well, both forwards now at the moment, boys. We've got Lloyd and Lucas down the back line.
Stenglein again.
And here's Rodman.
And nobody behind him. There is nobody behind him for 75 metres to go. They've all pushed forward onto Adelaide's forward line. Hand pass is good. Burton spins in the tackle. Oh, the siren. Just as Adelaide were threatening for a goal. What a ripper. Crows lead by 2 points after they'd led by 10 at half-time.
Yeah, it's a great game, Drew. You expected that Essendon would come back, but maybe not as emphatically as we saw in that last 15 minutes of the quarter. Kevin Sheedy, he can smell the blood of victory once again, and who knows whether or not his club is going to be good enough to deliver. But we have seen a far better Adelaide side here today, Doug, and this is a great challenge for them. This will be one of their best victories in the home and away if they can get up and be the first side to defeat the Bombers at their new home ground. And I think one of the keys to that has got to be Kim Costa. Get some fresh legs onto the ground. Obviously, they've got to get the ball in the forward line. Jarman to kick some goals. But you'd reckon that battle is going to be won and lost in the middle of the ground.
Yes, and what a battle we look set for in the last half hour. I wouldn't be going anywhere if I were you. Crows by 2 points.
I mean, with all due respect, Greg, I've sat through 4 of these consultants' reports now. And how much further have we got? Exactly. You know, I think we're forgetting something here. One, we're only going to get 1 chance at this. Not 2, 1. And secondly, we're in the engineering business. We're not in the information technology business.
There's one name that Australian businesses think of as the best provider of e-business solutions.
I'd just get Telstra to help us.
After a divorce, the only thing worse than dating is when your kids find out.
They just asked me if you were older than 25 or not.
So is that how old most of your dates are?
The hit series, Once and Again, coming to 7.
With Medibank Private, lifetime health cover is a breeze. Now, I don't have to worry about a thing. Hospital cover, extras, it's all taken care of. They make it so easy to afford. I was already feeling better, but now, all of this.
Lucky you joined Medibank.
I feel better now.
Okay, some dreams can't come true, but yours can with Visa, the only card accepted at the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games.
No matter where you want to live in this great southern land, the Great Southern Loan fits you down to the ground with no ongoing fees. Fully automated telephone transaction services, professional assistance and advice, and a linked account to your salary that you can access for bills and expenses. The Great Southern Loan is the safest and most secure fully optioned non-bank loan at a lower than bank rate. Check out or switch to the Great Southern Loan today. Call 8211 8611 now.
At Pizza Haven, we've always been great at making pizza, but our advertising guru said making great pizza is not enough. You've got to tackle the competition head on. Thank goodness we know how to make great pizza.
See the big race live, the smoke-free Adelaide Cup at 3:05. But first, all the colour and fashion from the track with AM Adelaide live, featuring Nicky Visser and including the Channel 7 Mile. 7 has the Adelaide Cup covered Monday.
What a game to three-quarter time, and the Crows lead by 2 points, 12-10-82 to 12 goals, 8-80.
The Coca-Cola AFL Premiership Season 2000. Proudly brought to you by Victoria Bitter. Mitsubishi Magna V6. One drive and you're hooked. McDonald's. Enjoy the fun and the games. And Telstra. Making life easier.
Gary Ayres, you must have wondered what he struck in the first 5 weeks when they lost their first 5. But in the last 5 weeks, something has clicked with the Crows, and there is desperation and passion about them.
Oh, there's no doubt, Drew, that whether they win, lose or draw this match, the competition has another top-line combination that is capable of upsetting the premiership favourites.
Here's a couple of tough nuts, Dipper and Mark Harvey.
Yeah, thanks, Drew. Mark, talking about a wake-up call in our first half. A terrific quarter by your boys then.
Yeah, we just started to get a little bit of momentum. We switched the side around a bit, and it's working for us at the moment.
Now, whose move was that? It had to be yours. You're very precious about your back line.
No, you talking about Lloyd to centre half back? That was Sheeds' move.
A terrific move, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, because Fletcher went forward and kicked the goal, so that worked for us.
Are you happy with the matchups at the moment?
At the moment, yeah. I mean, we just started to gain ascendancy towards the end part of that quarter. Let's hope they can do it after the break.
Good on you, Mark.
I guess one of the questions, Doug, is would you keep Lloyd in defence?
Well, I probably wouldn't, Jared. I mean, well, I probably would.
He's there.
Kevin Shooty would. He lifted down the centre half back.
And James Hurd has gone to full forward, which is a pretty good move. He'd be running out of juice if he has carried the flu into this match. But Lloyd has gone with Wren. And it looks like it's Solomon on Perry. Smart has gone to the forward line, which is an interesting one. And he's been picked up by the youngster, Chris Heffernan.
People still getting to their seats. I can't believe they even left.
Yeah.
This is going to be a great half an hour of football. Can the Bombers remain undefeated, or will the Crows be the first ones to knock them off in the year 2000?
Well, I think we're going to see some courageous performances in this middle of the ground. Adelaide Crows, never have they enjoyed the celebration song against the Bombers in Melbourne. They've had a couple of close opportunities. One final comes to mind, but...
yes. Led by 7 goals at half-time, got right. Here goes Johnson. Hurd, good spoil put on James Hurd. It spills to Hart. He's pulled off his kick. It's still on the forward line for the Bombers. Lucas, well done. Robran and a baller.
You mentioned Kim Costa now, boys. He's on the ground playing on Smoking Joe.
Well, fresh legs, he'll be able to work Joe over. But the Bombers have no doubt, Doug, added some desperation to their game, which was absolutely missing in the first half. They were relying on skill and dexterity only. Now they've got a bit of mongrel back in their game.
Simon Goodman's spoil on Hurd then was absolutely fantastic. But the Bombers are back into attack.
Great
kick by Carousella out wide, and Michael Long has a chance to put the Bombers in front.
He loves giving it off, Michael Long, but in this position...
Have a shot.
He's opening up the...
Is he walking around, Jared? Have a look at him.
Well, the umpire's actually straightening him up.
Yeah, get around, have another shot.
Another hometown decision. So Michael Long will be kicking from about 48 metres. Roof is closed, no breeze, but plenty of pressure. Michael Long, home you go!
Tôi đến Old Trafford bởi vì tôi phát giác ra một tiếng động rất là kỳ cục ở cái máy xe của tôi. Nó kêu tích, tích, tích. Tôi nói cho họ biết điều đó và họ bảo là cái bộ phận tappers đang có một chút trở ngại. Tôi cần cái xe của tôi sửa trong một ngày. Nhưng họ chỉ sửa mất có vài tiếng đồng hồ thôi. They are that good. They understand.
Well, the Crows have the job ahead of them again to hit the front and stay in front for the final siren. Barnes wins out of the middle. Stengline's hand pass to McLeod. Round the corner he goes. Burton on centre wing.
Jeez, he's a good mover.
He's a great mover. Had a chance to take a step and go, but he realised that Jacobs was right on him. Kick by Burton. Wren is there. Chance for Costa. Fresh legs might be important in this last quarter. Kim Costa, first touch for the day. To the goal square. Barnes flies. The ball's through for a minor score. Difference is now 3 points. Awkward half volley, but very well taken. Oh, Curie backs out of trouble.
A throw, yes, good
Here's
for Jerry.
King for a throw.
And lucky not to have 50 applied.
Nigel Smart to take the free kick.
Just got to keep it basic, the Bombers. Under the pump, they've just got to go with the 1%ers.
The punch actually gets behind the pack. Wasiti keeps it in. Might wish he hadn't in a minute. Comes to Burton, 50 metres out. 47 across the goal square. Smart in the pack. And Wren as well in the punch out of bounds. The Bombers under pressure.
Let's just have a look. He's made a big point about whether he handballed it or not, and well, the umpire was 100% incorrect, as we were, Dougie.
Little touch, didn't he?
Essendon free kick for the push. And that'll relieve the Bombers. They haven't quite had to sweat it out like this in any game this year. The smallest margin was last week when they won by 13 points over the Demons.
For Jacobs.
Solomon's been a bit of a key also, a bit of an unsung one, but him going back to their back line has given them a bit of stability.
Kick by Jacobs. Fletcher's gone forward, works it to the front. Michael Long, James Hurd offline and rushed by Robrin.
Darren Jarman coming from the ground. Interesting move. Scott Welsh back on. Whether or not he's hurt, we'll find out shortly from the Big Dipper.
Geez, you just think Jared, got to be injured, I think. I'd like to isolate him.
Boys, he's just having a rest.
Having a rest. I'd like to isolate him on Barnard down there in that forward line.
Got to make him hungry, like he was hungry for the first 25 minutes. Oh, look at Hurd. He's putting on a great display. Very high ball. Oh, Lucas! The mark was almost a fluke.
Jacobs, or is it Ramanastas coming from the ground? I think it's Jacobs and Boris Buick onto the ground to give some bite and goal-kicking ability.
Lucas has kicked 3 straight today. That's 27-11.
What about the skills of Hurd here?
Just brilliant. But he's missed it. So he had a very good conversion rate, 27-11 before that kick.
I'm just wondering here, Jared, maybe Hurd's come out to a wing, playing on Brett Burton here. I'm not quite sure that with the right match up this stage of the game.
No, I think it was just a zone defence.
Okay.
That was his position in the zone setup.
Fletcher, what a stretch.
Have a look at Michael Long.
And it's in that direction, Dipper. Beautiful call. Jared Dipper, take over.
Dipper's got the crystal ball. Once again, though, Michael Long, he loves giving the ball off, and there's a lot of space for him now for one of his forwards to lead in. But with no wind, no rain, he's only 45 to 50 metres out. He's going to have to kick this ball. He has got as good a chance as kicking this as trying to pass it off and get converted from there.
Hasn't actually been a great goal kicker over the years, but he's kicked 3 today.
With Medibank Private, lifetime health cover is a breeze. Now, I don't have to worry about a thing. Hospital cover, extras, It's all taken care of. They make it so easy to afford. I was already feeling better, but now, all of this.
Lucky you joined me, Beck.
I feel better now.
The Bombers back to an 11-point lead. Michael Long, 2 goals in this last quarter.
I know Mercury is such a great player, but perhaps McLeod has got to come onto the ball if they're to win this match. Can't save it from here.
Joey Mercedes got a very tough ball out of the middle. Blumfield follows up. The ball's knocked away by Mercury from McLeod. Scooped off the deck by Hart.
Free kick
Whistle.
back to the Bombers.
It's going to be a free kick to Mark Mercury.
Well, they've taken one of their match winners, Darren Jarman, from the ground. I think that after this goal, if it is converted, they'll be 17 points in arrears, and it's only the magical players that are going to get you up from there, Doug. And this guy's got as much magic as anybody in the competition, Andrew McLeod.
It's a weak free kick.
It's a weak free kick.
It's a goal. Very expensive free kick. Now, unless I'm mistaken, didn't Mercury have as much of McLeod as Vicky Verka?
Spot on.
I think you're right there, Drew.
I think it's fair to say, Doug, that the umpires have had a fairly poor afternoon. Some of the decisions have been just blatantly wrong.
He's got his shorts and a real good grip. Look at Mark Mercury's left hand.
I reckon the word soft really is appropriate here. That's a very soft free kick.
Went with the old-fashioned gotcha.
I'd like to be a television repairman in Adelaide tomorrow. I reckon there'll be a bit of business.
Hey, a few bricks and stubs.
Oh, that was a shocker. Bickley to centre-half forward. Crows certainly aren't done yet, but it's a fairly handy break late in the game for the Bombers now. They lead 100 to 83. Fletcher, centre wing. Three goals to nil in this last quarter.
Big mark.
Top mark.
Big mark, yeah.
Justin Blumfield is right in front and 50 metres out.
I just reckon, too, here, Blumfield's had the job on Rashudo. Rashudo's been brilliant up to three-quarter time. I don't reckon Rashudo's had a touch in this quarter, and it's a 9-minute mark in the last quarter. He's very important in midfield, Mark Rashudo.
Yeah, but he's run out of juice. He's
gone.
Busted
He's
a
so
gut
hard
today.
Yeah.
He's got to go into that forward line, perhaps, or even back into defence. McLeod onto the ball gives him a chance, perhaps, Doug.
Yep.
So Blumfield outside 50. Drop punt, not quite there. To Mark.
Romanascus.
Nearly the smallest bloke.
On the left foot, watch Buick here, boys.
Umpire's blown time off, so he can't play on.
It was a good move, but.
Well,
I thought the bloke in front, Scotty Lucas, had a bit of that.
Had a lot of that, Dougie.
So it is Lucas from about 12 metres out, and he's missed. Three goals, 2 to Scotty Lucas. Big fella in front. His hands. Romanascus finished up with it.
He's bloody will be calling for the fourth umpire again.
Well, the end of all that was at anyone's mark.
It wasn't.
Gee. Anyway, we haven't been too severely punished. The Crows, only a point for that. Well, the Crows are going to need 4 goals to nil to win the game.
Well done to Costa.
Rashudo, another possession. Robran, kick. Puts it out wide. Bickley, back into the centre corridor. Wellman got there. No mark. Lloyd in the last line of defence. The league's leading goal kicker, can you believe it? Ball gets to the back of the pack. Romanascus, hasn't he got the ball since he came on? He had one kick.
Well, it's an important ball for Wren. Sorry, Drew.
That's right. And Wren was taken high. And that's nearly a cheekbone job. And away go the Bombers. Michael Long for his 4th. Yes! A game breaker, Michael Long. Long has kicked 3 in this quarter, 4 for the game. And Sean Wren has copped one of the chops here. Watch this. Head clash.
Clash of the heads. He's done it again. Is it Johnson?
Yep.
I don't mind clashing heads, the old Johnson brothers, even though they're not brothers. That's just a piece of bad luck. Whether or not he's got a fractured cheekbone, I think, is the question. He actually pointed to the bench, Drew.
That could be the cheekbone.
And he's in a bit of trouble. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, gee. He's had every injury known to man, hasn't he?
Has there a player had more bad luck than Sean Wren?
No.
Rashuto. It was 16-11 to 12-11. The Bombers had kicked 4 goals in this last quarter. 3 of them were Michael Long.
Absolute shocker today. That was a mark.
Yeah, Rennie coming off, boys. Does not look good.
Well, he just gets the knee right, gets the big brace off, and somebody gets him high, which is no.
There it is again. He had. Well, he nearly paid that one, Jared. He did a fair bit of it. Not happy about it, are you, Jared?
No, I didn't like that.
Okay.
So Ian Perry. A wobbly old kick. It's where it was a windy day. Gee, they worked it well out of defence. Eventually round the boundary line goes Barnesy. And the ball's out of play.
That mark by Perry there, Jared, was only the second for the quarter. Essendon 11.
Well, let's have another look at this. Sean Wren.
Crash of heads.
Just a clash of heads. It was an unfortunate accident. They do happen. It's a collision sport. Both players, strangely enough, had no eyes for the footy.
Each other.
Well, I suppose we might look back at the game and say, well, the Bombers, they were threatened for a while. They just put the foot on the gas in the last quarter, and away they went. But I think they haven't had the rub of the green in this last quarter myself.
Well, they're not out of it, the Crows, but I think the big issue to come out of this match is that they've certainly back as a powerful side, but they can't be happy with getting close. They've got to win these games, and they still are capable today. Probably made a hell of a lot more difficult with Wren being off the ground, but this is a great crowd here has witnessed a magnificent game, one of the best and most enjoyable games I've seen. 44,626. There wouldn't be one person who didn't think they got value for money this afternoon.
I think that was 34,000, as a matter of fact. I know the screen said 44, but I think it might have been lost in the translation. 34 is the crowd. McLeod clears out of defence. Almost a clever one to Blumfield, because 44 would be the all-time record for Colonial. And actually last night they had about 39 here, and that was for 2 Melbourne-based clubs, St Kilda and Carlton. I reckon 34 is not a bad crowd here today.
Crowd.
Terrific crowd. Mother's Day, a lot of people would have to go and have afternoon tea with mum. Then there's a lot of mums who love their footy.
Jarman back on, boys.
And straight into the action, DJ. And players who have been on the bench for a while have come on and made a statement. Jarman one, and Ramanauskas another.
Well, when you consider the 50 metres that was given away earlier in the match for somebody going over the mark and just retarding the player, we've just seen that it was an absolute joke, because that umpire made a smart decision.
And the kick for the line by Heffernan just stays in.
Oh.
Perry clean bowled. Here comes Michael Long. Oh, Longy! You thief! He'll be in court tomorrow, Michael Long. And Barnes marks it half forward and wants to go on with it.
Well, Barnes, he caught one high, as did Michael Long. That was an amazing steal. Let's have a look at this. Perry took his eyes away from the ball and he went with the head, and there's Michael Long. Whoa, get 4 years for that.
He just took it off him.
And look at Barnes.
Oh, he copped one too.
Fashion heads.
So into Wellman. And another one by the Bombers might nearly seal it here. No mark right in front. The hand pass away. And just Johnson out of defence. And now we've got Matthew Robran at right half back for the Crows. Well, we're looking at 9 1/4 minutes left, and the Crows have to storm home to win the game. They certainly did well enough early, and at one stage led by 22 points. Stenglide to half forward. Costa, fresh legs, but run down from behind by Solomon.
In the back.
Yeah, in the back, said the umpire.
No, that was a smart decision. It was a great chase, and you want to reward a bloke who's done that, but you've still got to be able to tackle correctly, and this is just a pure push in the back.
His momentum, yeah, you're right, Joe, it wasn't the back, but his momentum of Solomon just made him go forward as well. kick was there.
Take a bit of wind out of you. To be able to kick for goal after that. Kim Costa put it very high and not long enough. Perry a big leap. Comes to the front. Welsh over his head. Didn't go 10 metres, did it? Lloyd a mark. That has gone across the goal square, which is not 10 metres.
Well, they've just got to get some players to find some footy here, the Crows. They've only got 6 players that have had more than one possession this quarter.
Buick to centre wing. Great kick by Buick. Blumfield dishes off to Johnson. McLeod got him. Hurd overruns. Rashuto gets back. He's had a big game. Might have been a little bit quieter in this last quarter.
He's had 4.
That's not up to the rate he was in the first 3 quarters. Robrin. 16-11 Essendon. 12 goals 11 the Crows. 8 minutes remaining in the game. Gallagher. Through the captain it goes. To Edwards. To centre half forward. Smart. Oh, no. Heffernan takes it off him. Blumfield. Buick. And mistakes like that by the Crows could be very costly, and it's going to cost them right here. Michael Long, the hero of the last quarter.
McCurry on his own.
Longy, I don't think he would ever have kicked 5 goals in his life, given his career average of goals per game. And Nigel Smart, a champion. You don't drop those.
Schoolboy stuff, wasn't it? That drop mark there by Nigel
coming
Smart.
off, boys.
Michael Long. Sensational. 4 goals in the last quarter.
What a fantastic performance. And all of a sudden, the lead's out to 30 points.
Now, I was quoting goals per game for Longy before. I'm feeling got that nice and mixed up. Let me get it right. He has kicked 131 goals in 167 games. So it's less than a goal a game.
Yep.
So has he ever kicked 5 in one?
I reckon he might have, Drew. Yep. Maybe once, if that's the case.
May well have been in that final, Drew, in '93 when they came back from the big deficit of 3/4 at half-time. I think Michael Long was a superstar that day.
Blumfield forward. Fletcher. Very high ball, real hospital ball here. McCurry low down. Lucas goes back. Here's Longy again. And here is another one.
It's all about trust.
Is this some kind of test?
And a guilty conscience.
Dharma said that you like it hot.
Tell her how beautiful she is.
You're very beautiful.
When was the last time you had sex?
Exactly where are we going here? Dharma and Greg tonight. Then at 8 o'clock.
We need to socialize with other people. Go out with another couple. It'll be fun.
But get ready.
I bet they're not coming. They're 2 minutes late.
For a disaster.
Oh, you. That's true.
Third Rock from the Sun. Tonight at 8 on 7.
It is not.
Wouldn't be a lot with there. No, he's just been brilliant down there forward line Long. Just a great team man too. He shares the football around.
Barnes, and the crowd starting to chant Longy. They've got a new hero now. And they were calling Hurdy before, now it's Longy. McLeod. Well, they must feel shell-shocked at the moment, the Crows. How did this get so far out of hand when they were right in it at 3/4 time? Round the corner, Stenglein. Because they come up against players like this. Hardwick is just absolutely rock solid. Costa. Oh, Buick dispossessed the player. Comes to Johnson, shrugs a high tackle, gives it off short to McCurry. And you'll watch the Bomber miracle start to happen now. Here's the miracle man. Long over the back, magnificent to Blumfield.
Well done.
Gallagher to Burton. And eventually out of it, Stenglein the short pass to Bickley. Not well delivered. Rashuto had to wait for it. He's lost it. Wellman for the boundary line. And that'll do him.
Sherry, you may have mentioned before about Sean in bed. Look, there's a bit of trouble at the moment. They won't find out until they get home with x-rays. But, you know, Michael Long has also had a lot of injuries over the years. And great to see him play terrific football. He's a great leader. Exciting player to watch.
Mark McCurry off the ground. Best and fairest last year, All-Australian. High ball by Johnson. Good mark by Jacobs. And Johnson, who gave the kick, followed up. Terrific play by the Bombers. It works to the back. Gallagher just beats the tackle of Fletcher. Over the top to Goodwin. He clears the 50. They're still looking for their first goal in the last quarter, the Crows. Off Perry it goes to Burton. Oh, tackled by Wellman. McLeod. Jarman, beautiful pass.
Well, I think what you learn out of this match, Dougie, is that Mark Rashudo isn't going to be able to take on 6 opponents. He's run himself into the ground, and he was the driving force behind their fantastic first 3 quarters. But he's going to need somebody to give him a rest, and Gallagher's come onto the match, maybe onto the ground, maybe a bit late in the piece. But they've also got to have the guys like Johnson, Kane Johnson, and Andrew McLeod just sharing that workload.
Jarman's kick swings away from goal. Down in front to Solomon. Welsh working in no space at all. And that's through for a behind.
I'll tell you what too, Gerald. I'll tell you it'd be dirty that James Hurd's gone from the ground. That'd be Simon Goodwin. He's played very, very well on James. I don't know who he's kicked 2 or 3 goals. This quarter he's been on Longy.
Has he?
Yeah, so his good game's turned to a bit of a, well, fairly ordinary game at the end of the day, probably.
Well, the Crows, who led at half-time and 3-quarter time, have managed just 2 behinds in this last quarter. It's been the Michael Long show. Hart. How strong is their resolve now? Less than 4 minutes to go.
Boundary line umpire down here. He's just gone all over.
He's gone.
Yes. Get out there and replace him, Dipper. I want to see you dash 100 metres. Wellman to Johnson. Lucas, good catch. Kick by Lucas, sets it up for the man for the jump from behind. Not quite. Long again. Come on, Michael, something more. Oh, into Masiti. He'll celebrate his 150th with a win. Long again. Buick. Lloyd back on the forward line. Very quiet. Johnson the hand pass through to the goal square. Ramanauskas had a chance. Rushed by Costa. Well, the crowd pleading for more from Michael Long. And there's Matty Lloyd jogging back to his man back in midfield. Sean Wren doesn't look too good. And Lloyd has had a very quiet day after kicking the first goal of the game.
Well, the wheels have fallen off now, and you question the resolve, Drew. The result is now fairly obvious to all concerned, but the Crows will be just so disappointed. They haven't given themselves even a glimmer of a chance in this last term, Doug.
No, they certainly haven't, Jared, particularly the first 3 quarters. They come here to play a game of football. They certainly gave it to Western. They tackled, they chased, they harassed. The commitment was first class.
So Johnson. 50 out. Brilliant kick. Another one. Well, it's got to the stage now where Adelaide fans couldn't be blaming 2 or 3 umpiring decisions. It's a bigger result than that. I mean, now you're looking at 38
goals.
points.
Yeah, 7 goals, isn't it? Unbelievable turnaround.
Well, with such a potent forward line, and don't forget Matthew Lloyd has played up in the back line for most of this match, or at least the second half, with just 1 goal. Their options are endless, it seems. I think that look says it all. Sums up the afternoon and the finish. What promised so much at half-time has just been blown away.
I don't envy Rennie getting back on the plane, actually, in that condition. He'll be up there in pressurised cabin. Ball lands on its point for Johnson, who kicked the last goal, but it comes to McLeod. Into Edwards. Goodwin. Well, they might get a goal in this last quarter. Rashudo works well with Edwards. On the run from 50 metres, Tyson Edwards. No, he can't break the drought. Solomon takes the mark. Away to Matty Lloyd. Lloyd back out to Johnson. Oh, did you see what he did to trick Costa? That was great. Costa wasn't watching the ball.
Go all the way.
Joey. Was that a trip? Back to Johnson, who had a bit of time. Into Buick. He won't give it off. He'll go for the goal. Mark dropped. Fletcher. And what happened?
Free kick, no mark.
It's a free kick to the Bombers in the forward pocket.
And she actually paid the mark.
Did he? Blumfield. Well, if he paid the mark, that's another bad decision.
Well, it was a disappointing chase from Brett Burton. And you would think, Drew, now that we've seen this happen 3 or 4 times, that every club is going to be onto that. When a Bomber has the ball tight against the point post, they're looking, Dougie, deep on the other side of the ground for a loose man in the flank pocket area.
Just amazing the blowout here, isn't it? 7 goals now. This could be 8-goal defeat.
Fletcher. Distance not a problem. Goal, no problem. It'll be a satisfying win, this, for the Bombers, because they were really challenged. They were behind at 3/4 time. They were under the pump. Their stars were playing in unfamiliar positions, and they just came home well.
Well, Dougie, there's no doubt aside in this competition that is going to beat the Bombers this year, but I'm blowed if I can find which one it's going to be.
I don't think there will be, Jared. I really believe this side has the ability to go right through.
That is now 8-4 in the last quarter to 2 behinds. Incredible blowout after trailing at the last change. There's 30 seconds left, and they might be hungry for more. Umpire will ball that up.
Well, it's just been a privilege to witness one of the great quarters, one of the great matches from a superstar of the competition in Michael Long. He has turned it on for everybody to see today.
Edwards. McLeod, maybe time for the Crows to get a goal in this last term. Edwards turns to the centre corridor, goes long, but he hasn't given it enough, and yet it's there for Welsh. Oh, Lloyd.
Look at the players back there.
They had them back in numbers. The Bombers have kept the Crows goalless in the last quarter and have romped away to a big win. They're still unbeaten after 10 games.
And Damien Hardwick, one of the stars all game. When they're under the pump, he was there delivering the goods for them. Doug, and I think that he would have to figure prominently in the awards. But down on the ground, the Big Dipper.
Yes, thanks very much, Gerald. Michael Long, great to see you playing terrific football, but what a comeback by the side.
Yeah, certainly we knew we had to improve in the second half. Obviously, we weren't playing to our team rules, and we stuck to it the last half, and it really paid off, and that's what we should be doing at the start of the first half.
You ever kicked 5 or 6 goals before, we reckon?
That was when I was playing on you on the wing, I think. No, I mean, it's good to get a couple, and that's the thing in the options in the forward line. There's so many other players can kick goals. So, I mean, you see Lordy down the back line, so I think I might take his place.
And that's the way the Essendon play at the moment. Everyone's chipping in when the big guns are down.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it just showed today that we can come back if we are down, and that's credit to the boys. They really worked hard.
Nice to catch up with you, Longy. Fantastic game, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Just an absolute pleasure to be here to witness it. And a nice moment there. The umpires haven't had the best day of all time, but Johnny Barnes ran over the umpire and said, "How about the ball?" The ump gave the ball to Johnny Barnes, who then ran over to Joe Mercedes to give it to the man who today celebrated his 150th.
There's smoking Joe Mercedes. 150 games. Has been a real star for the Bombers. And he's about to go up on the in-house camera here at Colonial Stadium. And in his hand is the footy that was pilfered by
Lloyd.
Big Johnny Barnes and given to him. The umpire said no about 14 times. And then finally, his sense of the moment made him change his mind.
It was the second pilferage of the afternoon. It was. After Longy's in the last quarter.
Yeah, no doubt, true. Could have saw the boys standing about 10 metres away from Joe Mercedes too.
One of the sadder moments, of course, from the afternoon was Sean Wren. We'll have another look at that shortly, but Kevin Shirty, well, how'd you be in his position, Doug? You know that this season is all about just one match. Stumble before then, and it's going to be a season full of disappointment.
They are just brilliant, Jared. They are a brilliant team. They play as a team.
what about Joey Masiti? A premiership player in '93 as a boy, and he's got a big chance to repeat now as a grown man.
Imagine playing a half-back flank for a wing in his Essendon side. Well, wouldn't it be a dream come true?
You get so much talent right around the ground. If you can't get a kick in this team, you've got to get a game first. So
well, that's the thing.
That's the toughest part.
We've got to get a shot at it.
But all the Bombers now going to different parts of the ground to thank their supporters. It's pretty much a full house here. And they're all full of red and black. And here's Sean Red. What a disappointment.
Bit of blur vision there, I think, by the big fella, Sean Red. As you said, Drew, I don't think he'll go home feel it that way. I think he may have a bit of a stay in Melbourne for a couple of days.
Well, I flew back from Adelaide last year on the same plane as Paul Salmon when he copped a depressed fracture of the cheekbone. And I've never seen a bloke look quicker. He shouldn't have been flying. And I'm saying that Rennie shouldn't maybe go on a plane too. Well, they are an awesome outfit. Nobody's beaten them in 10 rounds. And the closest anyone got was Melbourne last week by 13 points. The Crows were getting close today. The Crows at one stage led by 22 points and were beaten by 48. So what a turnaround, a 70-point turnaround.
This match in the 2000 AFL season, proudly brought to you by The Advertiser, fresh from the field, Sip and Save, Repco, Big League Legends, Amy, Coca-Cola, get caught red-handed, Mitre 10, Ultratune, in tune with you and your car, and Medibank Private.
This news update brought to you by Colonial's personal insurance portfolio.
Good afternoon. Coming up at 6 on 7 News, incredible pictures from the scene of a major overseas tragedy. 20 people were killed when a fireworks factory erupted in a series of massive and fiery explosions. 200 people were injured and the area around the factory looked like a war zone with rows of houses and dozens of cars wiped out. So big was the disaster, emergency crews were called in from another country. More pictures and more details at 6. I'll see you then.
One of the truly great motion pictures of our time. Honoured with 9 Academy Awards, including Best Film.
Promise me you'll come back for me.
I'll never leave you. Ralph Fiennes, Kristen Scott Thomas, Willem Dafoe, and in her Oscar-winning role, Juliette Binoche.
Don't go, I'm frightened.
7's premiere television event.